The greatest feeling in the world was holding my own gun. I'm hypertensive, but all my decisions been wholesome. My independence had me flipping on siblings I stole from. Said I'm just big and loud. Well, £1/2 pound is my silent treatment. I punched out plugs I could've stopped from eating. Jackie Gleason on the TV while his mama's sleeping. That plate was made, or he got that chick filleted like she Polynesian.
The fucking niggas do to me though. So I stand there blinded while my jewelry glow.
What's going on, world? We back. My Expert Opinion Show, the greatest show in the world. Hit that like, hit that share, let everybody know you in here. Don't cost you no paper unless you's a motherfucker.
Hater. Mother haters trying to see me when I'm clipping. Mother haters when they see me when I'm clipping.
Don't be one of those.
When they see me when I'm clipping.
In the words of the loud guy who's normally here.
Hater.
Yo, salute.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that. I don't know about y'all. Yo, thank y'all for joining us for another episode. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be epic. One time, shout out to April Walker Wear Classic Gear back in the building. We talk about classic material in here, so I figured I'd wear some. One time for my God Champ.
What's good, my brother?
How you feeling, King?
I'm good. I'm happy to be free. Happy to not be around niggas. Happy to be around some legendary people every day, all day. YK TV Magazine made the news.
Made the news. Hand clap for that.
We made the
hand
news.
Clap for that. Hand clap for that.
We made the news in Michigan because the Mission State prison system was not trying to allow our magazine in their system. And, you know, brothers is frustrated, man. They need to get their rocks off. You know what I mean? So there's a class action lawsuit pending and things are going to happen, but, you know, it was a great exposure. So I'm happy. I have no
We love it however it works.
Yeah, shout out to my brother, Mr. Gyro. Word.
Salute. Chaz, how you doing?
I'm good, bro.
All right, still haven't memorized those rules yet.
Let him put you on.
You know there's a battle rapper who runs these things. Like, memory is kind of important. You kind of.
I know. I'm gonna get there. It's, you know, I memorize it actually when I'm home. I do very well. I memorize it.
Stage fright.
I'm afraid of y'all.
Nobody believes
not.
That. Nobody believes that.
We don't believe you.
We're here to talk when the camera's off. Yeah, nobody believes
checking the shit out of me, man. Hell no, you.
One quick math. Feel better, Math Hoffa is under the weather.
Yes.
Otherwise, he
Feel
would
better,
be
my
here.
brother.
Feel better, King. Get it together so you can get in this chair.
He will be back soon.
Gat, how you holding?
I'm good money, man. Shout to everybody. You know what I mean? I don't normally talk or shout my shit out how champion niggas be going in.
Why is it always about champ, man?
Sure.
You feel threatened by it. That's what it is. You feel
threatened. Murder, new single out right now with my man PD Crack. Go stream that on everything. On everything. Follow me, Gat Murder Vivo, on everything. I'm back outside.
Shout out to the people that's here. Shout out to y'all.
Salute. International panel happening over here. We got like some real passport stamps and cross-country flyers over here. So salute to y'all. Sorry about the weather. Not really. We're
bloody cold.
It's kind of your fault because if our guest can handle the weather, then anybody else should be able to. And when I talk about our guests, I'm talking about two dudes from opposite sides who came together, opposite sides of the country, opposite sides, period, came together and made this. And when I start talking about classic material, for all of you who don't know, who may have don't have a 19 in your birth date, this is called a CD. This is called an album. It's actually called vinyl.
12-inch.
It's not just for hanging on your wall. It's actually like a way to really play music from this, believe it or not, both of these. And as classic as the material is, the music's even better because it's made by a couple of classic artists who are in the building with us right now. One time for Terminology and one time for Paul Wall. Fellas, talk to me because start, finish, repeat. I don't want to leave out the
Yes, sir.
If internet ever crash, you're gonna need those. If internet ever crash, you're gonna need a vinyl, a CD, cassette. Gotta get back to your roots.
I can't imagine how hip hop would look, how hip hop fans today would handle the internet crashing.
You
you
crazy.
can't handle a
It'd
rotary
be like the
phone,
purge out here, bro.
Yikes.
It'd be like the purge, bro.
Yeah. Okay, well let's before we jump ahead, fellas, welcome.
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us,
Thank you.
man.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
Flowers are deserved on both sides for both of you gentlemen. You've both been pioneers in your own way. You put a town on the map that people didn't know you were actually from.
True that.
You made your town cool as fuck to be from, and made it cool to be a white guy from that specific town, which nobody saw coming. I remember everybody trying to figure out if you were Dominican or Puerto Rican. Like, you had to be something else. You couldn't just be a white guy. And now here you are,
Yeah.
all these years later, all these generations later, and you made it okay to. Let's start there. How did that?
Well, when I came out from Houston, Texas on the SWISHAHOUSE tapes, you listened to it, no one knew what anybody was.
I
So even then, when they would see me, it was always assumed either I was Creole from Louisiana, or I was mixed, or maybe I was Mexican or something like that. But it was never assumed that, oh, he was white. Even when it was me and Chameleon there in the SWISHAHOUSE, Chameleon there, he had a more of a proper accent. So when you would listen to it, sometimes you might assume, oh, that's the white guy, that's the black. So it would be all up. People would get us all confused. And then on another note, there was another artist in the SWISHAHOUSE who had a rap name, Big Tiger, but his birth name was Paul. So sometimes he would say Paul in the lyrics here and there, so people would get it twisted. Oh, that's Paul Wall too, because it slowed down on the tempo, the pitch. Matter of fact, I got in an argument on Twitter with somebody because, he said the N-word a bunch, and they're like, oh, Paul Wall used to say the N-word. I'm like, shit, no, I didn't. The man right here, he said, I'm like, man, that ain't even me. That's Big Tiger. You know what I'm saying? Shit. So, but, coming up in that era where there was no internet, there was no, I want to know what somebody looks like, so I'm going to type it in, and then boom, this is what they look like. It was none of that. So it was that was never me being white was never something that it wasn't only till recently that people kind of like discovered. Even when I was coming up on mainstream, it was like I was white, but I was one of the crew. You know what I'm saying? So now I guess ever since I started growing my hair out. Like, wait a minute. Oh, you really is white.
You look like a quarterback now.
Yeah. But don't tell my wife she don't know I'm white. Don't tell her. She might divorce me. I don't know.
So how was it when you would like come out and do shows?
It would be awkward. I remember one time in Florida, in Pensacola, Roy Jones Jr. had a club called Star 69. We used to go out there all the time. Shout out to Pensacola, Florida, Mobile, Alabama, everywhere out there, man. We used to go out there. I remember one time we had a concert, and, I'm, maybe 30, 40 minutes till I go on stage, so I'm at the bar with my homeboy, and somebody next to us say, man, when Paul Wall coming on stage? That's the only reason why I'm here, see Paul Wall. I just turned and say, man, yeah, I'm coming up like, 20 minutes. And he look at me, he was about to whoop my ass. Like, you talking to me?
Why you playing?
And I'm just looking like, all right, I'm going on to him, man. I'll see you later. Then after the show, he came up to me and was like, man, I didn't know that was you.
Right.
And he told me, he was like, man, look, you don't understand. I hate white people. I hate white people. So, and he told me I was his favorite rapper. So he was like, man, shit, I didn't know what to think. Like, wait a minute, you my favorite rapper, but you also white. Ooh, I didn't know what to, expect. So there were some times maybe back in the days where it would be certain awkward situations, but at no point was it ever like, I don't know. When I go anywhere, I'm not like, I'm a white guy going here. Hey, everybody, it's the white guys here. Shit, we there. And if I was a white guy, I was the only one.
Right.
Like with me, it wasn't like I was coming with 20 white guys. It was, me and a bunch of black and Mexican people going there wherever we would go. So it was never like anything like that, you know what I'm saying, where it was like any type of issues or problems or anything. Because I'm not coming with that either, you know what I'm saying? I'm coming with respect wherever I go, you know what I'm saying? And I'm living my dream too, man, being an MC.
Hell yeah.
Shit, that was something I didn't even know was possible for me to dream. My dream was really to be a DJ. That was something that was attainable, like a career path I could follow. So to be a rapper was something that was like beyond something I could dream. So for me to have that opportunity to do this and rock stages, shit, hey, what time I need to be there? I'm gonna be there early, whatever shit. This is a dream job for me. So
where did the transition start? Obviously, you say you started with DJing?
I started with
So how did it transition to rapping?
Yeah, DJing was, okay, when I was in high school, I used to do a lot where I would do street promotions, pass out flyers for Def Jam, for Cash Money, for No Limit. So this was, 1996, 1997. I was passing out flyers. I'm going to the clubs. I'm too young to get in, but I'm hitting all the cars up with flyers outside. Or when new vinyl would come out, you couldn't really, in Houston, there was a couple record stores you could buy vinyl from, but you couldn't buy the hottest single. You could just buy whatever, somebody put their album out on vinyl or they put their single out. The single is now released on vinyl.
Right.
But everybody knows the single be hot on the radio and in the clubs first, and then it comes out.
Right. Yep.
So if I'm a DJ, I'm trying to rock the clubs and I want to play the hottest music in the clubs, I can't go buy it. I have to hook up with a record promoter from a record label or something like that. So
you can get in the pool.
Right. So I started passing out flyers.
So
it opened the door for me to pass out vinyl, to bring the vinyl to the DJs. So I would be, 16, 17, even when I was 15, bringing vinyl to the DJs in the club. That would be my only entry in the club. So, I got to show my ID. I'm too young. Shit, I left my ID in the car. Let me get extra $10 with it. Oh, come on, let you in, But I would still be in there, like my friends would do that and they'd be at the bar drinking. Okay, well, I would, they put the X on your hand, they mark it off, and then they go buy their drinks. Shit, I'm not breaking no rules. I'm in there, shit. I'm not getting kicked out. I'm going right to the DJ booth. I'm hanging with the DJ, shit. I'm in here working. This is shit. What you mean? So, shit, that's, passing out flyers helped me to pass out vinyl, which helped me actually how I started selling grills too, because somebody came selling grills and they needed promotions. Well, I wanted a discount. How you get the best discount? You work there. You got the employee discount. That's how you get the biggest discount. Shit, I want to work there. How can let me pass out flyers for you while I'm passing out the Def Jam, Cash Money, No Limit flyers. I'm going to pass out the grill flyers. And then I'm going to get a hell of a deal for grills for me and everybody in my hood. We're going to be shining when we pull up. That's how I started selling them, was because I wanted grills. And then my homeboy wanted grills. And then somebody else wanted grills. Well, I'm not doing it to make money. I'm doing it to hook my neighborhood up,
Right.
And then that turned into everybody in my neighborhood. They want to hook their cousins and they whoever else and this person, that person up. Next thing you know, I got orders for selling grills. All right, well, shit, I'm selling grills now too. Shit.
Where the grills started at though? We know it started in the South, but where at in the South?
Well, it depends. There's definitely Atlanta had its, Eddie's Gold Teeth was on the map for a long time, but it was also, man, coincidentally with somebody named Paul in Houston, over on Fairbanks, man.
There's a lot of Pauls.
There's a lot of Pauls, man. It's only a few of us, but they, we let our name be known, man. But there's, that's like the hood dentist where you go there and you get your teeth filed down, they take a mold in your mouth, you come back at the end of the day or the next day, and then they cement the teeth in, and that's it. You got grills now. But of course, Louisiana
I didn't know the process was that.
It's
nuts.
Yeah, it's a very you're not at the dentist, you're in the hood dentist. It's like you here and somebody's shaving your teeth down, doing all kind of shit, shit.
They don't come out at all? Like it'll never come out?
No, I'm talking, that's how they were.
Right.
The New York style was the removable style. That
Right.
eventually, like when we turn on TV and we see Wu-Tang with the removable, and we're like, man, we thought it was a magic trick.
Coliseum.
Yeah.
You used to go to the Coliseum.
Before that, I mean,
Albee Square Mall.
Flavor Flav was running around with gold. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
gold teeth
Yeah.
and gold teeth were one thing. Grills,
Yeah.
something completely. I never knew what the process was.
Now, my boy Johnny, he came to America from Vietnam. He started off doing jewelry repair, working out of his garage, getting $50 a month. That was what he would get. And that would pay for all his whatever bills he got because, he was making it work. From there, he started doing jewelry repair to actually making the gold teeth for the dentists. So the dentists would come to him with their orders.
That's crazy.
And he would make them. Well, he's like, well, shit, the dentist selling them. Why can't I sell them? So he started selling them as well. But really, for the beginning parts, he was just, the one who would make them, and then it'd be somebody like me, a middleman, where I put in my order with Johnny. He's making them. I'm out here selling them. I'm a salesman, but he's actually making them.
Mm-hmm.
But it got to be so big that where Johnny's like, all right, we're gonna open up a store. Let's open up a store.
You and Johnny together.
Right. And then from the mall to another mall to another mall, and it's crazy when you look at how things happen. The hurricane come and wipe out the whole store.
Wow.
Well, we just so happen to get insurance, and now we can upgrade and move to another store and get everything brand new. Okay, somebody go over there and rob the store. Okay, well now we got a settlement to where we can buy our whole store. We got our own mall now, damn near. Johnny Dane Company is one of a kind right there. So me being like the face of it or a salesman moving around, that was something that it was never something I dreamed of doing. I only did it because I wanted to hook up. You know, even then, you know, selling grills was something that when I'm in there putting in my orders, it'd be people from all over the country putting in their orders and picking up their orders as well, arguing with Johnny. He got a strong Vietnamese accent, thick, you can't really understand it, and a Mexican and black neighborhood. So you got people from Louisiana with a Louisiana accent, somebody from California with California accent, somebody from Florida accent, and Johnny just like, man, this is English, but it's not. Like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just in there translating, like, no, Johnny, all they want this part gold, this part diamond. You know, they want this kind of diamond. They want, you know, I'm just translating. I didn't do nothing that was hard work or, you know, I'm just sitting there translating. I'm diffusing a fight. You know, it's about to be a fight. Let me just calm it down. You know, y'all just misunderstanding each other. And then from there, it was, even then, those were the SWISHAHOUSE days where they didn't know who I was, but people would like hear the voice and they'd be like, man, I know your voice from somewhere. What's your name, Paul Wall? Man, you Paul Wall from the SWISHAHOUSE? And it would be one of them things that would, Johnny didn't have a clue who I was. He didn't know who nobody was. So shit, you know what I'm saying? Jay-Z could walk in there. At that time, he's not gonna know. It could be, you know, Michael Jordan walk in there. He's not really gonna know who's there. But he just was like, oh, you a famous rapper this whole time you selling grills and you famous? But I'm, you know, like, well, I ain't really famous. I'm underground. It's not really like that, you know, but that's kind of how we kind of teamed up in the beginning. Cause shit, I'm selling grills, but to hook people up. So in same with Johnny, you know, when you make them and you're making them for the dentists are putting a markup on them. The salesmen are putting a markup on them. So Johnny was never in it for the money. So when he first started with his own store, where it's our store, normal markup might be, you know, you buy something for $1,000, but it really only costs like $300. You know what I'm saying? So Johnny be like, well, shit, we gonna sell it for $600 instead of $1,000. The other jewelry stores hate us, but the customers love us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Johnny like, shit, fuck it, we don't need what do we need the other jewelry stores for? But the thing I love about Johnny is the same opportunity he gave me, he gives to people every day. We got over 1,000 wholesale clients from all over the world. You know, a lot of them are making new starts with their life. They coming out of jail or they doing something, making a transition. And it's a hustle. If you go out there and hustle, you treat people right, you build a name for yourself.
I think that's part of the reason why the acceptance for you is different and lands different. You dig what I mean? We have a lot of society today, culture today, there's a lot of back and forth about other races selling our own culture back to us, right? And that those debates turn heated. I personally have always talked about walking down Flatbush Avenue and nobody that looks like me owns any of these stores. I can't get a job in any of these places.
Man, that's something I talk to Johnny about a lot because historically you come to America as an immigrant, you get a loan. But if you're from here, you can't get a loan. Especially if you're black. They ain't giving nobody no loan. But if you're an immigrant, they're gonna give you a loan in a black neighborhood to open up a business. And then you go from selling there, but the people who own the businesses don't live in that community. They live in an outside community. Right. So their taxes don't go to that community.
Their schools.
Right. So it's like a double take from the community. The people owning the business not making the money, then the money's not, the people that own the business not of the community, and then the money's not going back into the community, it's going into another community. So that's something where, you know, Johnny fully understand that. So he's always giving back, doing things to give back. But it's one of those things where no matter what you give back, you know, you give backpack drives, you know, what can I do to change what goes on in the community?
I think you mentioned it. The fact that you guys live in the community, you hire from the community. You just said people coming home from prison, able to get a job, able to support their families, able to spend money in their neighborhoods, able to fund those schools through the taxes. I think that the fact that you're cognizant of it, you dig what I mean? And the fact that you're aware and you're making it a point to, let's do it like this.
Yeah.
Let's do it this way.
I look at it like there's absolutely nothing I could do. Now, I should absolutely do everything I should do. Everything I can and should do, I need to do. I should do. We all should. But if I do all of that, it's still, in my mind, I don't think it's going to really make a change. You know what I'm saying? But you still got to do it. It's something you have to do. Because sometimes the change be for the one person. You know what I'm saying? The one person who really, it makes a difference to them because they really needed not necessarily a backpack or, you know, something like that, but they needed the time to talk to somebody, to see somebody that, man, I came from here. And look what we did. We worldwide now. You can be worldwide bigger than us. And let me help you get there. You do something, we're gonna support you. We're gonna give you the spotlight. You know, we're gonna financially support you, whatever we gotta do. But a lot of it is something where, like I say, man, it's such a huge thing that, you know, undertaking of trying to, you know, better your neighborhood, better your community.
That's only if you got the conscience to do it, though. For some people, it's that's not an undertaking at all because it never occurs to them to do any of that.
Right, they're worried about
get rich and leave.
Their community is their family.
Right,
for a lot of people.
That's where it starts and stops. At the door, that's my community. All the rest of y'all fend for yourself. And I think that the fact that you're not doing it that when anybody doesn't do it that way, I think that speaks to the character of the person behind it. You look less like a bloodsucker and more like a community member. Right. And I think being a member of the community is all any community ever asks. Mm-hmm. Not to mention respecting it. So I think that's where your stripes come from as far as that's concerned. Let's one time.
That right there remind me of what Nick was doing.
Yeah, facts.
Same
facts.
exact thing what Nick was doing.
Facts.
And Trey talked about it too. When Trey was up here. Trey the Truth.
Yeah, true.
He was up here. Killer Mike.
Right.
No, yo, doing stuff in your neighborhood is for your own good. It's not, don't look at it like the reverse crabs in the barrel, like you get out and pull a ladder up behind you. That's corny. That's corny. Then people come from the exact same spots you do. And quite honestly, I'm really sick of us cannibalizing each other. I'm sick of us always taking from us and always doing us dirty and always making it bad for the rest of us. Like we got enough enemies in this world. We don't need to pick fights with the dude who lives next door, went to the same school with you, knows your cousin, stop that. That's just corny. Please stop it. Term.
Yeah.
You went through something similar.
Yeah.
Being not from New York, but getting your break in New York,
right?
Where you could have just stayed quiet and not stayed quiet and been a white guy, but you could have stayed quiet and let everybody think that you were a New Yorker.
Right.
But instead you're putting Boston on the map in a very different way. But we spoke about this. Yeah. There was a time when you could have just fronted off and been like, nah, I'm from the Bronx, and everybody would have, you said the road would have been different for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, when I first moved out here, it was 07, and Static moved out here in 04.
Shout out to Static Select.
Essentially, I've been in New York for about 20 years. Mm-hmm. And, some people that came from Massachusetts before me, let's say Guru, rest in peace, he moved to Brooklyn and he became from Brooklyn. And his path went different. So if I was terminology from the Bronx, my path could have went different. Mm-hmm. But I felt like me being born in Lawrence, Massachusetts, it was like I had to put that on the map. I had to try hard to really rep where I was born and where I was really from. Because you got to go back home and you got to look in the mirror. Your mom know where you from. The cousins, people you went to school with, it's like, so I just thought it was the harder road traveled. Because when I first started doing shows out here, it would be like, give it up for terminology from Boston. Then that's why I always started doing my shows with an acapella. So once they know I got skills, now they're like, oh, okay. So it was like, I would always start with that. And then I would always say, yo, I'm from this city called Lawrence, Massachusetts. It's about 20, 30 minutes from Boston. Kind of remind me of the Bronx. My hood is kind of like the Bronx. I would give a little speech. So I could take you into my specific hood, like how I grew up. And because a lot of times people will be like, oh, Boston, Larry Bird. Yeah, I know Boston.
Benzino.
Right. He from Boston. He from a different part. But even still, it was like, I had to represent where I was from in a different way. And it was a long, slow grind. But really just my rapping skills and my grind, that's how I was able to get mad love in the city. You know what I mean? In New York City. And to be out here and have all the relationships that I have, with all the people I worked with, getting the DJ Premier co-sign early and the MOP co-sign early and Wu-Tang and just I could go down the line, like getting all those cosigns early. My first tours with Sean Price. I'm coming, rest in peace. Coming in the game, with some hip hop royalty and having to follow those codes of how hip hop, went and how, those rules.
Those standards.
You can't rap over your vocals here. There's words you can say, there's words you can't say. There's things you need to pay attention to. You need to show love to the OGs. You need to know where hip hop was created. When did it start? Who was the first Woomty Woom? Who did? So me knowing my history and just putting in that work, they looked at me like a New York artist, and they kind of always have. Even though I get love at home, but when I'm in New York, it's like even to this day, like, man, you from New York. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been out here for so long, and I came in the game with New York artists. So it was like, this is where I wanted to be, man. I grew up reading the Source magazine and watching, you know, BT, MTV, whatever. Always wanting to work with the Wu-Tangs and the Tribe Called Quest and whoever. And through like me seeing that vision and me being like, yo, one day I'm gonna do that. One day I'm gonna work with the Locks. And it's like, boom, now I got mad songs with all the Locks. Like, cause I was like a little kid, like using my brain power and my dedication to make sure that shit happened. Right. I put hip hop first. I put my true love, which was hip hop first. And while doing it, had to also be like, yeah, by the way, I'm from this city where you never heard of nobody. You know what I'm saying? But then if you do the knowledge, you might go back and you might have said, oh, I heard of Crumb Snatcher before. You know, he was underground, but he was making a lot of noise in his time. Rest in peace, Scientific. So it was a couple rappers from my hood that made noise in New York and globally, but I came in the internet era. They didn't have the internet. So it was like Paul was saying, you might have not never knew how Crumb looked or Rest in Peace Scientific. I came in right at the time in MySpace. So, you know what I'm saying? I was able to become an internet sensation and blow up in the blog era. So I blew up in a different way that nobody from my hood ever did. You know what I mean? So
what was that
journey?
What was that first experience like coming from your city, your town, and coming to New York on some rapping shit?
Shit, my first show, I opened up for Coogee Rap. And
that's crazy. Jesus.
Your first show? My first show out here. I opened up for Coogee Rap and Immortal Technique. It was like a sold out show.
Jesus Christ.
That sounds like a good show,
right?
Damn.
Heavy.
Sound like a good show.
Remember,
I met him through Sean Price. I'm like,
that's a fact.
Yeah.
I was always running
get busy.
Yeah, that was my man.
And I seen him pop up again with Lil Fame and had a video shoot with Coogee rapping them.
That's a fact.
I'm like, yo, who is this nigga right
here?
Yeah,
right.
That's kind of like how I always got my shit too, because I would be with all these goats and all these fucking grimy Brooklyn dudes, and they're like, who the fuck is this little Puerto Rican kid? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, I go to SOBs with the whole MOP, and I'll be the only one that don't look like them. They're just like, who the fuck is this guy? So, but yeah, my first experience, I'll never forget it. I just remember walking around like, yo, that's Just Blaze. Yo, that's Saigon. That's this one and that one. And it shit was a long time ago, so I could probably say it now, but I remember Papoose and his people were whooping somebody's ass in the back. They were beating the shit out of somebody in the back of the Allegedly. Like, this is my first show, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? I walk in and I know it was somebody with Papoose or some shit. They were whooping somebody's ass, and I'm like, oh, man, because this is my first show in New York, so I'm like, damn, I'm already like a little nervous because I got to open up for Coogee Rap, who's like my favorite rapper.
He said I was a little nervous.
I was a little nervous.
Drop the ball, right?
Shit, and then somebody's getting stomped out by Mad Timberlands. Like, this shit feel like a Wu-Tang video to me. I'm like, this shit is the real New York. Like, okay, I'm here. So, you know, I go up. I believe it was called Lions Den. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Shout out to Lions Den. I know exactly where
so,
that
this is 2004. And so I did my thing. You know, it wasn't my greatest performance, but I did my thing and I got a lot of respect and people dapped me through the crowd. And I ended up, you know, taking Saigon's Never Down and, you know, saying just taking a couple pictures with some people, you know, Coogee Rap, and ended up forming a relationship with them. But it was like a culture shock for me because New York is like no other place. You know what I'm saying? It was exactly what I thought it would be from the TV.
It's the Mecca of hip hop.
That part.
Oh, Jesus.
No, that part though. That part. It was some goats rapping on stage, a packed room with 1,000 dudes wearing leathers, and somebody getting stomped out with Timberlands. This is what I thought New York would be.
You remember what they had on their feet?
I just New York Timberlands. Yeah. I never forget that shit.
Hey, New York
I'm over here trying to take
a
picture, and I just see a whole bunch of people get like, it was crazy, but. So that was my first show out here. And then after that, I was taking any show, any free show. So every week, at the time, I had a manager, Dan Green, and he would always call me, yo, got a show for you. So I'd be on the Fun Wild bus every week coming up here to do shows, doing free shows. Fun Wild Bus.
They drop you over there down Chinatown, right?
Christie, 55. Yep.
Yeah.
You know where it is? So I would have to go from where I was at to Boston, get on that bus, 4 hours, 5 hours to here, get off in Chinatown, then go to Brooklyn, and then go to the show. So that was a regular week or weekend
Before
for me.
Uber.
Oh, man, it was so
when did you know
Uber.
you was buzzing in New York City?
The Tony Sunshine, I did a freestyle with Tony Sunshine, Desert Eagle, and that shit just got on like every mixtape, and just the whole summer it was like a hood hit. Like, you know, back then, before really the internet, it was like the mixtape, whatever was hot on the mixtape, everybody was playing it. And I remember
Stretch and Babito used to bump your shit too.
Yeah, definitely. All the real underground shit, like backpack shit, like all that. Like that was my real lane. But I was also able to sneak into like the mix show DJs through Static, because Static was like my best friend at the time, still is, but he was like the person in New York who was my connect. So he was always linking me with different DJs and bringing me to different places and like letting me open up for like Tribe Called Quest and bringing me to just like shit that you could never even imagine that you would do. You know what I'm saying? I remember one show I did, and you can look it up on YouTube. It was before Big Sean and Kid Cudi blew up, and it was Consequences album release party. And so he had brought out me, Q-Tip, Kanye, Kid Cudi, and Big Sean. And so we're all standing in line on stage, and he's giving it up one by one for the crowd. Yo, give it up for Big Sean. They're like, yeah. Yo, give it up for Kid Cudi. Yeah. Give it up for Terminology. Yeah. Kanye right here. Give it up for Kanye West. Yeah. Like, I got this moment on stage standing next to Kanye. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like New York has been good to me, man. Hip hop has been good to me in New York. And in these moments, I cherish them, and like I love this shit. You know, I still do it because I love it.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, man. That's what's up. Stuck to the script.
I love to see the good
Stuck
guys
to the
win.
Script. Hustle.
I love to see it. Listen, dues. Did you hear that? Dues. Flyers on cars.
For years, still passing flyers out. Cause you can't get nobody to pass them out now. Shit, everybody too cool to
Everybody's
do that shit.
a star now. The intern is a star
Yeah,
now.
the guy who passes out flyers now, he a social media influencer. Shit, you know what I'm saying?
We're in a different era, but it felt good to survive these eras too.
Yeah.
And Paul came in the game a little bit before me, so he knows. You know, it's crazy how we have went through the late '90s, the 2000s, then the 2000 teens, and now we're in 2023. It's just, it's bugged out, but I still love it. Like I said, man, I love.
But you've seen so much change. Like the quality of artists has changed. What people are entertained by has changed.
Yeah.
Like you two are both from an era where the thing that you said was the most important thing about you. They didn't even know what you looked like.
Right.
You think what I mean?
Right.
And you were somebody's favorite rapper with no visuals, no marketing, just.
Now your favorite rapper? Who your favorite rapper? I like his hair. You know, that's it's my favorite rapper because I like the shoes you wear. You know, or something.
Or the beef he just got into.
Right.
Yeah.
He talk like I talk. He spin the block. That's the shit I be on.
Yeah.
What's the bar that
the
he
beats and the bars? That's what I grew up on. Yeah.
And who were you listening to?
I was listening to Lil Keke. He always been my favorite. Lil Keke from Houston, Texas.
You
Screwed Up
say
Click.
that every time. I legit just asked you to see if you would have a different answer. Every time I've ever heard you answer that question. Man. Lil Keke. Shout out to Lil Keke.
Big shout out to Lil Keke. Lil Keke coined 85%, 90% of all of the phrases that we say came from Texas or from Houston. Well, he coined them. You know, whatever the Houston culture is with the cars or how we dress or any of that, he popularized a lot of that. He was popping when I was in high school. So when I was in middle school. So my first introduction to hip hop was in 3 ways. It was turning on TV, looking at MTV, which was almost all East Coast, turning on the radio, listening to whatever was on the radio, which was Clear Channel, so it was all programmed almost all West Coast, and then the screw tapes, which was all underground. And it was mostly Southern, but not all Southern. But if I wanted to hear some hard underground East Coast music, it would be on a screw tape. If I want to hear some hard, West Coast underground music, it's going to be on a screw tape. But for sure, who is talking about streets that I know that I can drive down or talking in slang that I perfectly comprehend, it was all on the screw tapes. It was Lil Keke. Lil Keke always been my favorite, man. But, there were always others, too. I love Cash Money. Cash Money was always big to me. I grew up listening to a lot of Wu-Tang. So Wu-Tang was something that was dope to me, too. There also were a lot of underground artists here and there that I, would listen to for sure. Sean Price was one of my favorites. A lot of the West Coast artists like the Mob Figures, Jacka, Hustler, you know, Rich the Factor, he my second favorite rapper, Rich the Factor from Kansas City. So I gotta shout out to all my people, man, because shit, they inspired the fuck out of me. Rich the Factor got like 500 albums out, you know what I'm saying? He put an album out like every month, you know what I'm saying? And I can tell you right now, you just randomly go to any album, any song, you're gonna get the same thing. He's gonna be giving you game. His beats are gonna be either some Kansas City, like Midwest type of beat, or it's gonna be something with a sample in it, but it's gonna be a hard hitting beat. And he gonna be on there doing real shit, either street shit, like I said, giving you game, or just anything real. He gonna give you some similes, some metaphors, but you know, that's them my favorite rappers, man.
Rappers don't even talk like this anymore.
Right.
You don't even hear this kind of talk
Not
no more.
excited.
What's a simile?
Yeah, bro, Jesus Christ. You don't even hear this kind
Yeah,
of
it's
talk
all
no
about
more.
ad-libs, you know, shit. Which, you know, it's always been like that, though. I look back, you know, when I was DJing, I played a lot of DJ Jubilee. DJ Jubilee is an artist from Louisiana where, you know, and back in those days, I take you back to 1998, 1997, 2000. You know, if I'm DJing a party anywhere in Texas, okay, you're going to go through your medley of music. You might play some Biggie music. You might play some Pac. You might play some, you know, Miami bounce, you know, bass type of music. But you're going to definitely get in there and you're going to get your Louisiana bounce on. You know what I'm saying? And when you play that Louisiana bounce, it's going to be DJ Jubilee. So DJ Jubilee, to me, he was somebody who would, you know, he would call out dances that you do. He was, you know, with MC on the, you know, on the song, he would be calling out. He wouldn't be rhyming like giving you bars, but he'd be telling you, do this dance, now do that dance, now do this dance, now do that dance. And whatever he would be doing, that's what everybody in the crowd would be doing. But it was seen as like party rap. It was like party hip hop. Okay, well, if he was around today, like making music today, like if Get It Ready came out in 2023, then he would be the king of TikTok, because that's all it is. So it's, you know, it's just, hip hop just has evolved where it's still dancing, it just ain't really breaking. It's TikTok dancing. You know what I'm saying?
Depends
so
on where you go still, because I still see breaking. Like I'm totally
It's in
with
the
you,
Olympics now.
which is crazy.
That's crazy.
That
That's
we're now in the
amazing
Olympics.
that hip hop made it to the Olympics.
That's crazy.
At this point, I'm not shocked when we make it anywhere.
Facts.
Like at this
It's
point,
a global takeover. They make the most money off us. They might as well let us in the game.
yeah, that's never been synonymous.
Correct.
We've had to create those spaces for ourselves and then wait for everybody else to catch up.
That's real shit.
Which, speaking of which, how did you? And I'm bringing this question to you in a second. But how
Yeah.
did you? We got from you DJing, passing out, but we never got to you actually transitioning into rap,
Okay.
and then joining that crew that turned out to be legendary.
Myself, Chameleon, there, we grew up on the same street. I knew him since I was like 5 years old. So whatever he did, I did. Whatever I did, he did. So rhyming was something we did on the school bus, at the basketball games, at the track meets, the football games, wherever, at the lunch table, you know, we're rhyming. Everybody was rhyming. So it was something that everybody did. So I did it the same way he did it, or whatever, you know, whatever. And it just was something I had a knack for. Same with Chameleon there. We both had a knack for it. And I think us growing up together, it kind of, you know, we sharpened each other's, you know what I'm saying, iron sharpen iron. We you know, we just made each other more on point with whatever we did. You know, it just made us both like a friendly competition, although we were never in competition with each other. It was us in competition with everybody else. So, you know, it was just something we would do. And then we had a homeboy who played football for Rice. His name was Emerson Allen. He played football for Rice University. He was like running back, receiver, you know, star player. But he had like a little makeshift studio in his house. So when he would be not playing football, we'd be knocking at his door. We were the little kids, you know, like, hey man, let's rap over there. Annoying little kids. So, you know, after a while of us letting us rap on you know, on beats and stuff, it would be something where, you know, we got our own like little fake ass demo, you know, and we, you know, go give it to whoever, this person, that person. Well, you know, the SWISHAHOUSE was founded by Michael 5000 Watts and OG Ron C. OG Ron C, I went to church with his mom. His mom was, you know, the head of the choir. His stepdad was the elder at the church. Me and his sister were the same age. He had a little sister that I used to babysit, you know, with the youth program. So his grandma, you know, was at the church. So she told him from day one, hey man, make sure you don't let him go astray. Make sure you take care of him. Don't let me be out here wilding out. Like, she made him responsible for anything I did. So he made that clear to me. Hey, everything you out here doing, you ain't gonna hear it. I'm gonna hear it. So make sure you ain't out here making me look bad. Cause then he was really big bro me where he, really mentored me and showed me and taught me that, even though whatever decision I make out here is not just coming back on me, it's other people who are answering for this too.
Guys, that's what an OG is supposed to do.
Yep.
You heard that? Rewind this. If your OG's not doing that for you specifically, if he's not doing that, he's not your OG.
I always tell OG Run C, hey, you big OG Run C now, but I was the first. I was the first person to use OG too. Shit. He taught me how to DJ too. Even then, it was somewhere, I always want to set of turntables where, he had somebody who could hook me up with a set for, I'm not going to get too much in detail before, a less than store price. You know what I'm saying? and that was my turntables that I would go DJ parties with, but he also would, do the mixtapes with, you know what I'm saying? So, and even then, from my affiliation with the SWISHAHOUSE, my dream was never to be a rapper in the SWISHAHOUSE. It was just to be in the SWISHAHOUSE. No matter if I'm passing out flyers, a DJ, if I'm making grills for the SWISHAHOUSE, if I'm cleaning the floors of the SWISHAHOUSE, it was just for me this is, a dream job. So at the time, my dream was to work at the radio station. But, I was too young, and they had a scandal that went on where they had like an intern that was underage, some sexual happened or something. So they no longer let anyone under 18 work at the radio station. I was like, I thought my dreams were crap. I thought that was the end of me in the music industry right there. So passing out flyers or doing something else was like, okay, I still got hope. I still got life. And, rapping, on doing a traditional route with a demo, stuff like that was like more of okay, I can maybe make it this way. But I was already kind of loosely affiliated with, SWISHAHOUSE being that, OG Run C, mama, his grandma, all them, I was close with him. I would go to his house and watch him, DJ. I would be sitting there watching him DJ and he'd be like, get out the room. So, then when he perfects something, he'd be like, all right, come here. And he'd be like, watch me. And I'd sit there and watch him. And, all right, now you do it. And I'd fuck it up. And he'd be like, all right. And he'd close the door and he'd be like, I ain't coming back to you. Don't knock on the door till you done. It'd be 8 hours later. Shit, that's don't knock on the door till you done and you got it. And when I come back in, you better have it right. Okay, cool. So that's DJing was something I thought I could be. Now at that time, I'm gonna take you back. You gotta imagine what it was like. I rapped on my first SWISHAHOUSE tape in 1999. Okay, when I was 17 in 1998, me and T. Ferris were pressing up tapes and CDs for the SWISHAHOUSE. And we were, staying overnight 24 hours a day, pressing up CDs, driving them to Dallas, San Antonio, Austin. So I was working in the SWISHAHOUSE in other capacities, just not rapping. But keep in mind, this was the hottest shit in Texas. Unless you was from the south side of Houston, this was the hottest shit everywhere else because the south side of Houston was screwed up only. There was no SWISHAHOUSE, it was only DJ Screw screwed up. But everywhere else in Houston, everywhere else in Texas was SWISHAHOUSE, okay? Where they were open to it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the Screwed Up Clique always ran it, but it was like, okay, they open to listening to you if you from Dallas. if they from Dallas, but not on the south side of Houston. Okay. But when I tell you it was the hottest shit, so me rapping, it was a line out the door around the corner to get in the SWISHAHOUSE, right? To get in the front door. So it was no getting in that front door, you gonna be sitting there waiting. And I would be with Michael Watts or OG Ron C, and rappers would come up trying to get down. And they would immediately do not answer. That's what they say their name. It's just another rapper want to get down with us, want to use us, kind of thing. So I said, damn, man, I ain't never gonna be able to rap on a SWISHAHOUSE tape. Because if you even ask, then shit, that's the end of your opportunity. So this is how I started rapping with the SWISHAHOUSE. One time I'm putting up posters at a record shop in Houston, and Michael Watts is coming dropping off some tapes to the record shop. And I just happened to ask him, I said, Watts, man, I love Cash Money, man. I love Manny Fresh. How come I ain't never heard Slim Thug or anyone else in the SWISHAHOUSE, J-Dog, Lil Mario, how come I ain't never heard them rap on a Manny Fresh beat? Man, what's going on? Manny Fresh got the hardest beats. Why y'all ain't rapping on them? And he would say, well, the rappers pick what beat they gonna rap on. And I'd tell him, nah, man, you need to pick a Manny Fresh beat and tell them to rap on it. He said, well, what's your favorite Manny Fresh beat? I said, man, Cash Money is an Army. BG, Cash Money is an Army. Bum, 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 dum, 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 bum, 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 bum. So Watch started, beatboxing, doing just like what I'm doing, what we doing. And so, all right, what would you say on there? And I just kicked the freestyle. And really? Like, yeah, right on the spot.
What would you say on that beat?
What would you say on it? And I was like, what would I say? Shit, this is what I was saying. He already knew I rapped because, you know, we would have our demos that we would be passing out, but I never crossed the line, I guess, you know, of asking, can I rap with you? You know what I'm saying? I was too scared to because I knew if I asked, he was going to say no.
Put you in that.
So even then, it wasn't me asking, it was me as a fan. Can y'all rap on Manny Fresh beats? Because I know Slim Thug will kill this shit, you know?
Right.
Man, that's when he said, come on. I said, shit, come on. We went to the Dust Bowl. That's the SWISHAHOUSE. We went over there. I laid my verse. I actually laid 2 verses on something. And, you know, next thing you know, a week later, he calls me and said, hey, man, the computer crashed. But that was like a normal thing, you know, where the files would be lost. So it would be like, okay, did it crash? Because, you know what I'm saying? That's your way of saying, hey, you ain't rapping with us. You know what I'm saying? Or did it really crash?
Right.
Either way, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, nah, it crashed. But hey, come back over, you know, next Tuesday and we'll lay something new. And matter of fact, bring your boy Chameleon with you too. There was one of them things too, I think at the time where I had a hell of a work ethic when it came to promotion, but Chameleon was somebody I think Michael Watts kind of favored. You know what I'm saying? Like he favored how Chameleon rapped more than he favored how I rapped. But it was like, even though, you know, I'm the one who got in the door, now you can come, even though I was a guest. Even though I had the ticket, I was the guest. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how it was.
So Chameleon was making noise already?
No,
you bought Chameleon to SWISHAHOUSE.
Actually, well, I can't say I brought him to the SWISHAHOUSE, although, you know,
he asked for
that's kind of how, you asked for him. You know what I'm saying? It was like, shit, bring Chameleon with you. It's like, shit, Chameleon, you want to come rap with me? Come on, because it was one of those things where you rap on a SWISHAHOUSE tape, then instantly you a celebrity in the neighborhood.
Right.
And when I say celebrity, I mean celebrity. You walking in getting free food everywhere you go, everything's free. Everybody want, you know, it's just you big time celebrity. So it was shit. Whether you,
I wish it was like that here.
Too competitive over here.
Well, no, it can't. We talked about this before. There's certain places in the country where the independent scene is so crazy that they don't have to leave their state.
Right.
Texas is massive.
You always spoke on that though.
Because I remember interviewing him and Slim when they came up to New York, and it was made very clear to me that they were just doing this because it was like going through the motions. They didn't have to. There's nothing about the units they were moving and the shows they were doing that said, hey, we have to go to New York and do press so everybody else knows that we're doing something. It was kind of like, okay, we got some money. Let's just go to New York and we'll do some promo and get in the magazines. But
we almost didn't want to. Because then, okay, also, all my rap OGs, they all told us, hey, when you go to New York, bring your A game. You better come on with it. They'll come to your show and boo the fuck out of you. They'll buy your ticket. Like, for real. So they would tell us, like, we were already, you know, and then New York had the perception. That's why I say my perception in New York was completely wrong. Because New York had a perception that everybody here is a fucking hater. But that wasn't my experience at all. When I came here, I got nothing but love. I can honestly say I never once ever experienced any type of hate. Now, if somebody don't like how I rap, that's understandable. I don't like how tons of people rap.
That's not hate, though.
Right, that's not hate.
Right.
Exactly.
That's a preference.
Right, exactly. Also, a lot of people get misconstrued to where, you know, you pop in your hood, then you come here, you think you popping too, and nobody fucking ever heard your name. Okay, well, I ain't never come here with no expectations and entitlement of, okay, I know I'm big where I'm big, so I'm gonna be big here too. And I always had an admiration for New York. I mean, it's still the mecca of hip hop. It's still the birthplace of all this. My favorite rappers, you know, were from here or, you know, made a name for themselves here or something. So, you know, so it was like, okay, this is something where I don't want to come here and be ostracized. I want to come here and make a name for myself too. So whatever we got to do, let's do it. So, but when you first come here though, it's definitely one of the things where you intimidated because it's New York. So you thinking everybody gonna be walking down the street, fuck you, I don't like your shit, you know what I'm saying? But
are you saying good morning, man?
Yeah.
You're not that wrong on that.
Nah,
New York, fuck, I look like saying good morning.
Yeah. Well, nah, I just think that, you know, it's you know, people don't have as much patience here, you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times. So it's you know, people want their space, people want their privacy, it's all understood. So it's like, shit, if I'm walking up to you and I don't know you and I'm talking to you, you might be like, get the fuck out of my face. Why you talking to me? Which is understandable. You know what I'm saying? So shit, it's one of those things where I don't know. I had a perception of New York that shit was not what it was. You know, I thought it was going to be a hell and it was not. It was shit. We got love
Was this something
here.
you seen on TV? Somebody from Somebody told you or something?
Yeah, like I say, it was all my rap OGs. It was, and I don't necessarily think they had bad experiences necessarily, but you know, growing up in the East Coast, West Coast rivalry, it's just thought, you know, that nobody gives a fuck about Texas because nobody did. So it was somewhere when we coming up making a name for ourselves in Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, or like, you know, the Southwest or that type of third coast, what we call the third coast. You know, we making a name for ourselves there. It was like, well, if they're not feeling us anywhere, why are we gonna go there? Let's keep doing what we do. I mean, we don't want to go somewhere just to get booed.
We embrace music everywhere, though. New York City.
No, but that's new. That's new. He's not wrong. That's new.
No, that's true. But I'm saying well, me, I'm gonna speak for myself. I embrace music everywhere. Like, I've been fucking with the South. Like, T.I. came out before he started buzzing and all of that. I was fucking with the, you know what I mean, down South music.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, it was a little different, not to cut you, it was a little different from me because once I heard certain East Coast rappers mentioning South rappers, that's when I started tapping into them. So when I started hearing Jay-Z talk about, you know, when you had Bun B and Pimp C on Big Pimpin', and then he's on something with Juvenile, and I'm like, who's these guys?
Yeah.
And then I start tapping into
that's
the
when the
Southern
remixers
District.
start, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but prior to that, I was just, New York.
Nah, not me.
You know what I mean?
Well, I remember the first time I performed out here with Dipset, and we came out here. Dipset had a show. It was Cameron, matter of fact, but he brought all Dipset with him, and it was sold out. I can't remember the name of the place it was at, but it was at some big ass club. And he was like, "I'm gonna bring you out, you know, to do a song." And I'm like, "I'm doing Still Tipping or something." So Still Tipping was popping. It was big around the country.
We got to talk
whatever.
about that. Go.
They didn't necessarily. I don't know at the time. You know, when the video came out on BT, that's when they kind of was like, "Okay, that's who that is rapping." But even then, you know, I remember coming out on stage and it'd be from everybody worshiping Dipset to everybody staring at me like this. But it would be like I grew up in Houston. So in Houston, we have a little man complex sometimes where if you come there, this is how we gonna stare at you because you from New York. I don't want you thinking I'm on your dick. So I'd rather you think I was a hater than you think I'm on your dick.
It's like that here.
It's like that everywhere.
That's why I understand. That's why I kind of I get it. It's not it's not haters. It's the same shit that we got. If I'm from out of town, y'all not gonna ride my nuts. But if I talk to you, have a conversation, then it's gonna be, hey, I got a lot of love for you. I got a lot of love for you too.
Sometimes it don't even be that. It's just they want to get familiar with who you are.
Right before they give you,
know
a
what
chance.
I'm saying? Like they know who Dipset is. You know what I'm saying? Like some they probably like, who the fuck is this? You know what I mean?
New York motherfuckers.
And then you got introduced. You got introduced,
right?
Man.
You gotta prove it.
We got trust issues.
You always gotta prove it out here. You know,
but we also have a complex.
Yeah.
We also have a superiority complex, which is not. My boss from The Source, shout out to OG Jeremy Miller.
J Mill, what's up, baby?
J Mill put me on to because he was from Oklahoma, and they call that the Dusty South. So me and him used to debate all the time about who was nice, who was this, who was that, and he would bend my ear to music I'd never heard. But he was so adamant about it. And he knew the lyrics the same way that I knew a Redman song, he knew this song. The same way that I was talking about Hit Squad, he was talking about Swishahouse. And I'm talking about Boot Camp, and he be talking about Screwed Up. And I was like, how you got somebody for everybody that I got? But he was really on it like that.
That was his Wu-Tangs.
Exactly. But for him, that was everything. And these are dudes we never heard of. And in New York, we got an issue where if I ain't heard of you, it must be because you trash. Must be because you whack. I know everything. So if I never heard of you, you
ain't
must
outside.
Suck.
You ain't
exactly.
outside.
Right.
So Paul Wall, who the fuck is that? I don't know that nigga. And it's not even that I've even heard him to make a judgment on his music.
Right.
I've never heard of him. Fuck out of here. Don't mention him while I'm mentioning somebody that we all talked about. Yo, that kid Terminology just burned it down. Oh, word, who? Or G-Rap? A word?
Yep.
Okay, that's. I just heard Paul Wall rapping with Redman. Like niggas was going back and forth. Word? All right, let me see what's. Then it's a different thing. But we really, thankfully, technology has changed that for a lot of us. And now there are no borders. Now there's no. Now somebody from Canada shows up and nobody knows where he's from exactly, except for Canada. But the South embraces him, the East embraces him, the West. Paul Wall shows up. Now he's somebody, the GRILLZ they got in Japan off the strength of this. You know what I mean? There's Japanese dudes with lowriders and
Swangers, yeah.
Thank you. Give me the name of the rap.
Swangers, Takes some wire wheels,
Got
funny.
Down the street, and they got a mix going. When you see the photos of them come back, they got bandanas, they got grills. Some of the cars jump up and down. Some of them are the latest Mercedes. Some of them go from side to side, slow down. But
I love you.
I know. In LA, they had the lowriders going on. Was y'all inspired by that?
I think
when Snoop first videos.
For sure, there was definitely some inspiration. But Texas always is like
got their own shit.
Yeah, it's like, okay, how can we make this our own? You know what I'm saying? And it was something where we definitely was inspired by them, because when you see Snoop and Dr. Dre, you know, nothing but a G thing exiting off the freeway and they pulling up to the, you know, the volleyball where they, you know what I'm saying, having a cookout, all of that. Those was iconic imagery of the cars. So it was like, okay, you know, that's where Lil Keke gets a lot. That's why he definitely needs a lot of the credit, because a lot of the way him and his friends would make the cars, how they would customize them, became the way Houston customizes cars. But it began as, you know, Lil Keke, Corey Blunt, you know, all these OG. You know, Lil Keke might have been the only one that was a rapper. Everybody else was just, you know, like what we would call influencers now. You know what I'm saying? But they just this is how they would do their cars. That became how we do our cars, for sure. With the wheels sticking out, they became, you know, they were Krager wheels. There was a package you could buy when you buy the Barrettes. You know, it would be an extra package with the Vogue tires and the Krager wheels, you know, in the fifth wheel. You know, it would be a drop top car. Everything, you know, the only thing we would do custom would put candy paint on it, or get a custom, you know, chrome grill for it, or, you know, stuff with the music. And then with, you know, when Pimp My Ride came out, everything we would see on Pimp My Ride was shit that we were doing to our cars. We were already doing, like, we already had TVs in our cars. We weren't doing some of the crazy stuff, like, you know, maybe, you know, that they would do on, like, we wouldn't,
tanks and shit.
put a fish tank in it, but, you know, but it would be, all the Creme My Ride stuff was how we would do it. It just, we would have the wheels that would poke out, and you know, that became just the staple of.
Y'all still doing that right now.
Still doing it.
You got about 18 inches outside your
wheels. Yeah, they've definitely been. When they first came out, they were like 15-inch wheels. You know what I'm saying? 16-inch wheels, and they were aluminum. So you hit any little pothole or something, they're gonna dent all right up. They weren't welded completely around, so, you know, the wear and tear on them would be terrible, man. Where they would come loose, they start, you know, clacking. The spokes was like be clacking. Well, this company, Texan Wire Wheel, came and they made steel wheels where they were welded all the way around. And, you know, and they just took it to another level where they had offered different sizes, where there was 17s, there was 18s, there's 20s, you know, and then for how far they would stick out. They started off sticking out, you know, one certain, you know, length, and now they go, man, they got some wheels that stick out like this far on each side now, where it's shit.
I seen a post you put up one of your rides. I forgot what kind of car it was.
My wheels, when I go to my hood, they say, oh, you got them little dicks. Oh man, you got them little rims. Hey, bro. Yeah. Hey, that's what they call them. Yeah.
They call them what?
They say you got them little dicks. You got them long dicks. You got them long dicks? That's what they got. Shit.
Hey, man, you got them little dicks. Hey, man.
Nah, but you know, I go out of town. Everybody talk about how far my wheels stick out, but when I come home, they like, man, you got them little ones, man. You gotta get why you got them little ones on there. They say, oh, you got them old 97 wheels on there, man. This ain't 97 no more. Shit, man. But
cars out there looking like Tonka trucks.
Yeah, but
it speaks to space. They got the space for it.
Oh yeah, the lanes too. We got them. We got the even as far as my wheels stick out, they inside the lane. They still inside the lane.
Wow. That's not the case here. You couldn't drive that.
Y'all got speed cameras out there?
Speed cameras? We do, but they illegal. We got them, but you don't gotta pay the ticket. Just send your ticket, but you don't gotta pay. They
was out there racing all day.
Yeah.
You know what we gonna do? We're gonna take a 5-minute, and when we come back, we're gonna get into your origin story. And then I wanna hear how this album happened in general.
Yeah, for sure.
5-minute break. We went through a good chunk of Paul's career and how he got to it, but your start similar to his, right? But you started just like with bars. People did not know where you were from, had no idea how to take you once you said you were from Boston, but you're getting co-signed by all these legends. So I can only imagine that the same way the pressure is up for him as far as like joining this legendary crew, you're now being co-signed by legendary artists and like super legendary artists. You know what I'm saying? Like in the area so now here comes the album. Walk us through getting into making the album, the first album. Like, what was that pressure like to live up to all this hype that you created for yourself?
Facts. It was like a career before my career. Like I had a career before my real career. Just like rapping as a kid. I started rapping when I was 9 years old and making my first demos at like, 12, 13, 14. First time going to the studio and then, just doing shows like 16, 17, 18. So, when I finally put out a couple mixtapes and started getting like some real traction, got the unsigned hype in the source, and that was a big deal back then. It was like you would get signed. You would get signed off that. Yep. And not only would you get signed, but everybody's reading that magazine. Whoever your favorite rapper was at the time, Nas, Jay-Z, everybody's reading it, and only one person could get it a month. So I remember when I got it, like the Game had called my manager, wanted me to come play music. I went to every major label. It was like, it really did help with the buzz. And it was like, I went to all these labels and all these people were like, yo, you so fire, but we can't sign you. And it kind of came down to like, we think you're a great rapper, but we don't know how to market underground rap right now.
And what year was this?
This is like 06, 07. So I ain't gonna lie, like hip hop was in a weird space because if I came out like in the 90s, I would have been out of here because I had the 90s style and 90s cosigns. So it was like, there was a whole like 10 years of the underground where it was real dry, and it was only a few, like handful of artists that was keeping the underground alive. You know what I'm saying? And I was one of those artists that was just coming into the blog era, and everybody was changing with every wave. So it was like, okay, whatever Flex is playing on the radio right now, mostly down south music right now. All right, we got to make a down south track. You remember that in New York? Remember that time? Yo, we need our down south
John
track.
was on fire.
We need one. We need at least one down south track. We need a hyphy track. Right. We need it's hyphy now. We need a hyphy track. Oh, it's crunk. Let's make a Houston song.
Let's but an East Coast
down
sound.
In the hook. So anything but East Coast. They were running from it, and instead I was embracing it. I got my start with DJ Premier, which is what I always wanted anyway. So I was like, all right, the road less traveled. It was like, it's gonna be harder going this way, but I feel like this is the true way for me to be myself and have longevity in hip hop. And I'm so happy I did, because I remember like the people around me, I ain't gonna say no names, but the other underground cats around me, a lot of them were jumping out the window just trying to do whatever was hot at the time. And I bet you if they hear those records right now, they won't be proud of them. You know what I'm saying? But when I do shows, I still do my records from 06, 07, 09, and they still, I was in Mexico City last week, and they knew my shit. They were all, watch how I go down. All my primo shit, they knew all that shit. Because that type of fan base, man, will last forever. That true fan base that loved you from the underground, that shit will last forever. So you better off to just be yourself, you know what I mean, than trying to jump on every wave.
But everybody wants to be famous, Term. Like being famous is for a lot of people more important than being good.
I know.
Being dope. Like they want to be
definitely
famous.
More important than being good or dope, in this era. But I think
but not to you.
No, not for me. I mean, shit, I always knew that, like, I always knew my path. I always knew that the underground had to keep going. Somebody had to be the new guru. Somebody had to keep the lyricism going, the Black Thought, the Big Pun, the Nas, like the shit that made me want to rhyme. Everybody can't be that A-list artist. Somebody got to keep the underground alive. And I feel like that was me and Static's job. We came to New York and was able to do what Gangstar did. Two cats that's not from New York
but you had
the sound going.
You had the opportunity to go and you could have left that alone at any given moment, and because you had the music, you had the ties, you had the industry label connects. You know what I mean? You knew the formula. It was a simple formula at the time between when the 90s was doing this and before the South complete takeover. There was this space in the middle that you're describing. You could have made a run at it, but you fuck that.
Yeah, I just felt like it was just better to just make what was true to me. Now everybody wants to hit. Let's be real. Everybody wants a hit, right? In my mind, I was like, I want a Black Rob Whoa hit. Something that's true to me.
A classic record.
But could still ring off wherever I go. Annie Up hit.
Timeless shit.
Feel me? I'm like, all right, if I could catch one of those, then Pharaoh Monch, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Put your hands up. Like, if I could get one of those, I'll be all right. That was kind of how I looked at it. I never really looked at it like, all right, I got to compete with, you know, whoever's hot this year. Because it changes every year who's hot. I remember when I went to Interscope, they were like, oh, you Puerto Rican? They were all excited for the meeting. And they had this big picture of Daddy Yankee, and he's sipping a Pepsi and all this shit. And they're like, all right, so you're going to do 3 Spanish songs, and then you can do all that other shit you want to do. And I'm like, nah, dog, I don't do Spanish rap. I just played you Pete Rock, my song with Prodigy from Mobb Deep, rest in peace. I played you Buck Wild. I played you DJ Premier. This is what I'm bringing to the table. It's like, but yo, this guy just sold 700,000. You just got to do what he did, and then and it was like no disrespect to that. That's my roots. My family loves that shit, but that's not my shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm an underground hip hop artist, specifically East Coast boom bap artist, and so it was like that was the struggle. They didn't know how to market an artist like me. I feel like.
Did you beside that time that you said that you was on the stage with Kanye, Kid Cudi, and the rest of the cats? Did you ever connect with Kanye after that?
Nah.
Never.
That was a moment. Like that, yeah. It was like Kanye is bigger than life from then till now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
shit. The reason I asked is because I think about the fact that, like, you know, you had Tribe Called Quest, you had Jungle Brothers, right? You had that conscious era hip hop early in the 90s, right? Mid 90s. And then Kanye does this, you know, track for Jay-Z and blows the fuck up, and then people realize he could really rap, right?
Yeah.
Being that he could really rap and he could really make dope beats, and he's really attached to the culture. He's a bars guy. He goes back and he says, I'm going to take Slim Village.
Right.
I'm going to take Little Brother.
Right.
I'm going to take Twister. I'm going to take Common. This person, that person, and I'm going to curate this group of, this culture of music that's been missing for so long. And I'm going to make them big based off of what I've done. So I feel like there's like some type of formula there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For artists like yourself, who has bars, who's classic, who's worked with classic
I'm just
producers.
a little too young.
Right.
Just a little too young. Like Through the Wire, I was still like high school. I'm just a little too young. You feel me? He went and grabbed artists that inspired him and made them relevant again. You feel me? I just a little. By the time like I came out in 08, he was already.
He's up top.
He was out of here in 08. You know what I'm saying?
He was already on what, 808s and Heartbreaks.
He was untouchable by then. It was like 10 times platinum going at it with 50 Cent. Who could sell the most? Like I missed that when he was going to SOBs doing shit with Talib. I was still in high school. I missed that. Unfortunately, I missed that because I know if I was around him at the right time, he would have been like, "Yo, come here."
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Because he did it with Static. Static did 2 beats on Dark Twisted Fantasy. He didn't get credit for them, but he did. He did them.
What beats? Which ones?
He did Lost in the World and one other one. He did the drums in the studio with Kanye. And he said when they passed the credits in, his name wasn't on the list.
That sucks.
So, you know, he don't feel no type of way about it. He got.
I do.
I mean, he did.
We didn't know that. We just found that out today.
Yeah, he did it. He was in Hawaii. He was in the studio with all of them, and he did the drums. And then I remember, you know, one of the beats I picked, and he was like, "Yo, you can't have that beat because it's going on Kanye shit." And I was like, "All right, hell yeah, get it, my bro."
Right.
And then when the shit came out, I remember he was heartbroken. And he like, all right, fuck it, you can have that beat now because they didn't give me my credit. So we ended up using the same beat on our shit.
For Lost in the World.
The drums, yeah. The
drums, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on,
it was 2 of them. It was that one, it was another one. But that shit always never set. I'm not coming up here to shit on Kanye. It's just the industry's like that, right? You got 10 cats working on the beat. Sometimes people forget who did what. I'm not saying
that's crazy because when Kanye was working on Stronger, and he went to all these other producers and he went to Timbo. That's the story that's out there everywhere. That nobody could do these drums.
He kept trying shit until he found the right one.
Right.
Yeah.
And Timbaland, you know, obviously Timbaland and other producers got credit, but it was like Timbo made this track what it is.
Right.
Yeah,
so it's like, why not do that with Static Selector?
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
If I had to guess, and I'm just me being a good person, I would say that it was just like the credit got forgotten. I don't think he was like, fuck Static or anything. You know what I'm saying? I think it was 100 dudes in there, and they just said, "Yo,
nah, Amber Rose was fucking his head up. That's what happened.
Oh, Jesus.
They were like,
fuck.
nah, you know that shit. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Once in a great while, I'll forget somebody's credit. But if you see the vinyl I gave you, you saw.
No, yes.
You saw how you said, "Damn, you gave everybody credit." I've been breaking my brain trying to remember. Yo, Paul, who's that guy who was with in Houston recording your vocals? Yo, Solene, who was that? Who recorded your vocals in LA? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like for real. I'll be trying to remember everybody because I don't want nobody to do that to me. You know,
and that's a lesson for everybody watching.
That's
right
a form
there.
of disrespect, though. If somebody took like the time out to like help you craft something, that's like missing the name on the album. Like we did a record together, but you put the and then you don't put the feature.
Yeah,
that's like disrespect.
You know who's done that a bunch of times?
Who?
And I love you. We love him. LL. Love LL.
What happened?
Yes. Bro, Love You Better. You don't know who's on the hook of Love You Better. You don't know who's on the hook of doing it and doing it well.
With the female voice, right?
So they get the background vocal credit, not the feature.
Does anybody know who was?
Probably got paid. Yeah, probably got paid behind the scenes.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, if you somebody who's I'm not saying this is the case with what LL did. I don't know what the politics was behind it. But it's like if there's a bunch of people in the studio and say Paul Wall say, yeah, champ, come to the studio. And I know how to rap, or I know how to write hooks.
Probably signed an NDA.
And it's just like, yo, this is one of my mans. All right, yo, just put this hook together. All right, yo, I gotta go, bro. I got something to take care of. I'm out.
Yeah.
Right.
The next thing you know, it's like if Paul decides or Terminology decides to sing the hook, then it's like, yo, this hook is fire, and it just get overlapped.
Right.
Just get overlapped. The label picks it up. Then it's like, all right, it's out of here.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, they probably got a bag and then signed this non-disclosure.
That still doesn't negate the credit though.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. But
that
some people don't care. They be like, I don't give a fuck about this shit. Here, take the. I don't care. Give that a couple dollars. Some people will do that.
Being the label saying, "Nah, you the artist. We're not gonna blow up another artist, and whoever's on the hook they won't sign a deal with us, so we're not gonna put them on it because this is gonna get them a leg up for another label to go sign them." It's still fucked up.
Additional vocals.
That's what an NDA
additional vocals. You know. Or not even just, yo, you're gonna get additional vocals. You're not a star. You want the additional vocals, or you don't want to be on the track.
Which is why I think artists.
That's business.
But artists need to have their hand on that as much as possible.
Yeah.
We talking about career-making moments for people who may never see that opportunity again.
Right.
Thank God Static Selector is genuinely, honestly talented and can do it again and again and again because he's like that. He's really built like that. His production game is ridiculous for all genres.
Right.
Biggie, I'm just telling the truth though.
Facts.
But God forbid you're not a Static Selector. You know what I mean? Like, what
if you only had that one in you?
Right. What if you only had like 2 or 3 good ideas and maybe this,
but they were the best ideas because that's, to me, one of his best albums, if not his best album.
And not even to say that you only had one idea, but like, what if
he could have gave you more hits?
The pressure of everyday life keeps you from being as creative as you can, and this opportunity would have gave you some financial leeway to now you're not stressing about the bills, and now you can sit down and come up with a whole tape full of that shit. But because you got skipped over,
yo, we love you, man. You are great, man. Give Static his motherfucking. give him his credit, man. Static
at this point, what's it gonna hurt?
Like, it's not gonna hurt.
Send him a plaque in the mail or something. You know what I mean? Send my boy a plaque out of respect. That's all.
How about that?
It ain't no hard feelings, but just send him a plaque. That'll be nice.
Static Selector had a spot in Brooklyn and Bushwick.
Grimy.
Yeah, I was there. Me and Saigon.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you in the hood, nigga.
We was there for 12 years. That's where we did all our shit.
The little spiral stairs that come down in the crib.
Motherfuckers sleeping on the stairs.
Hell yeah.
The show-off basement is legend in hip-hop, bro. Like, we brought so many artists there. We pioneered so much shit in the show-off basement. Like, we created going live on live stream. Now everybody got Twitch and IG, Instagram Live and YouTube and going live on. Yo, we had live stream. You remember that shit, right?
Bro.
We had a bootleg-ass laptop. Shit wasn't even a Mac. And we went live on live stream and would make a whole album in the night. One night. We did that with Freeway in the basement. It was Static was doing the production and he was picking the rappers. So he picked me. We did one. Then he did one with Saigon first. He set that one off. Then it was him and Freeway. Then it was him and Freddie Gibbs. Then it was him and me. And then like once he perfected it, that's how Trill Static came about with him, with Bun B and Static started doing the album in a day. And then they took it to where it's at now, where it's like major. Like now it's like They got corporate sponsors. They doing vinyl.
That's crazy,
You
bro.
got rappers like Paul Wall flying in and just to get on this tape and then flying home same night. Like he hopped off the plane. This is a hip hop guy right here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People always, how's Paul Wall? He's hip hop. He flew all the way to New York, walked into the motherfucking Sweet Chick, wrote his rhyme, spit the shit, got back on the plane and went home same night.
Wow.
That's hip hop.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's dope.
So
That's dope.
That's how we want to live
Hold
in
up.
this shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Real
Clap it
talk.
up. Clap it
That's
up.
the energy that I always want to bring until the day I die. Like I see Snoop and he's still rapping. And so sometimes people be like, damn, yo, like, when you gonna stop rapping? You got 50 albums already. You've been rapping since a little kid. Like, you're not sick of that shit? Hell no, I'm not sick of that shit. I love this shit. I'm gonna rap until I don't love it no more. You feel me? But I feel like I'm always gonna love it.
We the only
No doubt.
people that put a age limit on our shit. You know what I mean? We talked
Truly
about that.
just us.
Yeah.
Truly,
Yeah.
and
Only-
I don't mean black people. I mean hip hop.
Hip hop, correct.
Our
in
genre is the
general.
only one
Yep.
who
Get him out of here. Couple years, bring in the next
indulges
guy.
in ageism to the point where we sacrifice our best,
Right.
some of our best creatives. It's disgusting. I got in an argument with a dude from Rolling Stone over that whole thing, like back in the day,
Yeah.
early Rolling Stone. I don't even know if he actually worked there. He was just but this dude looked like leather pants, wallet chain, taco meat showing, leather vest, silvered out. And me and him were having a conversation about something, and he was like, "Yo, you're really on point. Like, what are you here for?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm having a meeting to talk about." And I mentioned the rapper we were supposed to, and he rolled his eyes at me. And I always like,
Who's the rapper?
I forgot. I honest to God forgot.
Okay.
But it was somebody I was assigned to talk to. He was gonna be at Rolling Stone, and I was
Okay.
supposed to meet him there and then move from there. We got into this huge argument, which really should have been a much better argument because I'm good at arguing, but I had no points with him. He started shutting me down as far as like hip hop. You hip hop, you guys are like ridiculous. You were supposed to be right behind rock and roll music. Look how much you fucked it up. You put the kids in charge of everything. Your legends are out the pasture. The inmates are running the asylum. What the fuck are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Our legends can still tour. Your legends can't get on the radio. And he just started shitting on me. We 70, 80 years old, still doing whatever we want. 60 years old. Like, you guys, after 30, you're washed up. Like, who does that? You're not even in charge of your own shit. And I walked out of there with like my head, because I couldn't.
Somebody shut you down?
What?
Can't believe that.
Stupid.
You were more
damn.
mad because there was truth
Not
in
the
it.
Aries Mecca.
No, say that again.
You were more mad because there was truth in it.
I was infuriated that it was. I was
and you wanted it to
furious
change, and we still want it to change.
all day. But first we got to acknowledge the problem. One of the main
Right.
problems is ageism. We got to get that shit out the paint. You have to stop dissing our legends.
Yeah.
Our legends need to be able to flourish the same way the Rock Boys do. Nobody tells
Aerosmith.
to sit down.
Rolling
They just went.
Stones, none of that.
The Eagles.
Aerosmith
Yeah.
just announced their final tour. That doesn't even mean they're not going to put out albums. That just means this is the last tour. That means they toured till they got tired of doing it.
Yeah.
Chicago did the exact same shit. Farewell tour. We're not coming back out anymore. Yo, you know how ill you got to be to tour to the point where it's like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah.
It's like Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish. He just dropped a new record.
Nobody.
With somebody rapping on it.
I
On the
saw-
on the flip side though, we need better OGs in hip hop because
like the one he had.
yeah, like we need better OGs and I stay working with rappers and producers that are on the come up, and sometimes I get like shit for it because like the OGs or like people who are more on will be like, yo, why you working with that person? They don't got no followers. They don't got no following. They're not doing nothing. You're wasting your time. And I'm like, yo, you gotta tap into the youth. You have to work with the people that's coming up. And you know what I mean? You saw who I walked in the room with, 2 younger artists in their 20s. I walked in here with an artist named Jan and an artist named Soline. And both of them are teaching me things. You know what I'm saying? They make way different music than I make. I'm not even making the type of music that they make. But at the same time, he like, I'm talking with him earlier. He like, yo, you heard that new Yeet song? Now, a lot of people my age don't know who Yeet is. Right? But he putting me on. Like, yo, he got a song with Drake. Whoopty whoop. So now I'm like, all right, cool. So now we giving each other game. Cause I'm like, all right, yo, you know who we going to chill with? This is the OG. He did this, that, and the third. And it's like, so we sitting there talking about who really wrote the Benjamins. Yo, Jadakiss wrote this verse, and I know you told me that, and he here telling me about Yeet, and I'm telling him about who really wrote the Benjamins. So this is the type of relationship
Bridging
the
the
OG
gap.
should have with a 20-year-old.
You be surprised
You know
what you
saying?
learn from the youth, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The new slangs, all that shit. You learn from them. You be like, the fuck that mean? What is that?
Well, back a couple years ago when everybody started saying drip, everybody laughed and it turned into a cultural term. Drip.
Right.
The OGs laugh. We don't say that shit. It's like now it's played out. Now it's a new word. So it's just like we gotta learn from the youth. And at the same time, the youth gotta do their history.
How's that experience for you?
I'm stuck in the middle.
As somebody who knows the history, though, when
Yeah.
you're trying to pass it off to a 20-year-old and put them on, do you get? Are you able to convey the level of importance of the information that you're giving them? Do they get that?
Not always. I think you gotta pick who you want to mentor.
There it is.
You can't just mentor anybody. You'd be wasting mad time. I related to talking to my daughter. You know what I'm saying? She, Dad. She's not really hearing me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God.
So, if it's something pertaining to hip hop, she's really not interested in that. So,
but we're talking about MCs, rappers,
for
producers,
sure. Oh yeah,
DJs.
but they don't know the history. This not cool for them to know the history in this culture in this age group. It's not cool for them. Like, obviously, I wasn't listening to Melly Mel. I was listening to Wu-Tang. But I went and I read all these books and all these magazines and watched these Wild Style and I watched these documentaries to Crush Groove. I wanted to know who started this shit. I wanted to know where it came from, where I got the idea from. So seeing that the OGs have failed the youth and seeing that the youth don't really care to know what the OGs did anymore, it's like you got to find those artists on the come up that care, that want to listen to the OG, that want to be coached or at least given the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And those are the ones that I'll take my time. I'll do a couple sessions with an artist and see how deep they want to get into the recording process and the music industry. How much do you really want to know? Because they all want to know the jewels. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this? How do you do that? And I'll tell them. And then I'll give them assignments. All right, your assignment is to go home and create a TuneCore account. Your assignment is to go home and create a BMI account. Your assignment is to go home and download this app. And your assignment is to go home and get a Spotify for Artists app. You look over the app, this, that, and the third. You got to make yourself a Bandcamp, start growing your following there so you can sell these vinyls and this and that. So I be giving them homework. And when they come back 2 or 3 times and they never do the homework, I'm like, all right, you're not ready. You just want to be a star, but you're not willing to do the work.
Just want to be famous.
That's a fact.
But if they go do it and they put themselves on the shit, then I'm like, all right, I'll keep mentoring you because you're showing me that we can help each other here. You know what I'm saying?
You're extending the quality of the artists that we have now. You know what I mean? You're adding to the quality of the artists that come out. My biggest issue is I just don't see a lot of quality artists. I see a lot of people who want to be famous. I see a lot of people who want clout. I see a lot of people who want women. I see a lot of people who want money. I don't see a lot of people who want to be dope, who want to make dope music. If they didn't have to make music, they wouldn't. Which is where I think a lot of the, call me crazy, I think it's where a lot of the influencers coming from. I think if you guys could make music, you'd be making music. You can't make music and you found an easier way. So this is what you're doing now. And it makes money and it's great and I'm not mad at it, but
use the music as a tool for the fame and the money now instead of making the music because you love music.
And I love music.
Yeah.
The only reason I get mad at it is because the music now suffers. The kind of music we have suffers. I had never been to Houston, Texas. Never been. J Mill played me Paul Wall. I felt like I had been there. You give that album a good listen, it's like, oh, this is how they. I felt like I had a cousin in Texas. I felt like I could go to Texas and get along. Like, oh shit, I kind of know some shit. This is fire. My same age. Talking, you know what I'm saying? Like people in my age range, up, down, whatever. But that's music was the big connector. And now that everybody wants to talk about the exact same thing, I don't feel any connection to it because most of y'all is lying. Most of y'all is lying. You're literally just saying whatever you think is going to get you paid. Like that era you went through when it was like, I can make music like this and kind of get on. I can keep doing what I really do and express myself to the people. They went the other way.
That shit is dead now too. Anybody could be anything because you don't even need to see anybody. You could just you could just be somebody on IG and then not do live shows and not really talk to people. You could just take a picture, put a filter on it, you know, talk a certain way. You don't even have to be a human anymore. You can just be, you can just make music,
Avatar.
make music and put a cover, and then it's like we think they're this person. Like you don't even have to be that person. You know what I'm saying? It's bugged out, especially with the AI shit now and all that. Now we're talking a whole new level of not even having to be a human. You know what I'm saying with this shit.
Can you imagine life if we never got to see what Paul Wall really looked like? That one dude who hates white people, still walking around hating white people.
But bumping Paul Wall, crazy.
That is shit.
Nah, that's funny as shit.
Fuck white people.
I got a question for you, Paul.
Yeah.
So, how did Drive Slow come about with you, Kanye, and all them other brothers?
Man, Drive Slow, the origin story of Drive Slow for me started with Sitting Sideways.
Okay.
Sitting Sideways was the beat my boy T. Ferris gave me, said, hey, I got this beat for you. The same guy who made Still Tipping, Salih Williams, Carnival Beats, he got a beat for you. It's Sitting Sideways, got Big Pokey on the hook. My favorite screwed up click rappers were Lil Keke, Fat Pat, and Big Pokey. So it was something I had never did a song with Big Pokey before, or Fat Pat, he had got killed, and I had never did a song with Lil Keke before. Lil Keke always was my favorite, so T. Fair say, all right, look, all you gotta do is one verse. We're gonna get Big Pokey on the other verse and Lil Keke on the third verse. So this was a dream come true, ideal song. Like if you pick, hey, name 2 people you do a song with. Okay, these were the 2 people.
Right.
So we had just signed our deal with Warner Music, with Asylum. My stuff was coming out on Atlantic. Atlantic said, hey, we're not putting 2 unsigned people on your song. We'll put 1, but we're not putting 2 unsigned people on your song. So we chose Big Pokey because it was his sample on the chorus. It was it was something he said on a famous screw tape, June 27th, and we sampled that for the chorus. So it was okay, we're gonna put Big Pokey on the verse. Maybe we'll keep Lil Keke verse for the remix. But you know, the remix I don't think it ever even came out. But imagine me, I gotta tell Lil Keke, hey, I begged you to get on my song, you did it, now we ain't even using it. Like, he probably was like, man, fuck you know what I'm saying? But it was like, man, I was heartbroken because, you know, it's like me telling, you know, Biggie, hey, I got you on my song, but you ain't on it no more. What, like, how could that even happen? But at the time, he was unsigned, and he wouldn't sign with Atlantic or Warner Brothers, so they were like, well, he ain't in our system, we're not gonna do Universal work for them. So anyway, Lil Keke got taken off, and T. Ferris told me, man, why don't you write 2 new verses? Because I already had to write 1 new verse to cover Lil Keke verse that got took off. But he said, hey, man, why don't you write 2 new verses? Because there's just something about that verse that don't really go with this song. This is how I used to write verses back in the day. This is before I used to smoke a lot of weed. Now I smoke a little bit more. It's easier for me to concentrate. But at the time, I wasn't smoking it at all. So I'd go in there, you know, it'd be music. It'd be the heater going. That would distract me from writing my verse. I can't think straight. So anytime I got to write a verse, I would get like the first bar just so I can get the tempo on my head. Then I go in the closet or the bathroom or go sit in my car. So Sitting Sideways, I went and sat in my car outside and I wrote my verse. Okay, when I come back in the booth to lay it, it's like the telephone game, you know. I tell you, you tell you. By the time I get back around to me, the story didn't change. That's how it was. Well, I'm writing the verse, you know, to the beat, but in my mind, the beat going like this, but really the beat going like this. So when I try to lay it, it's a little bit off. That's why I like in Still Tipping, Sitting Sideways. A lot of my earlier verses, my words would kind of be jumbled together, where it was like a style, but it was not intentional. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit, that's crazy.
But T. Ferris said, man, look. The verse you saying on here, you saying some shit, you saying some good, you got some bars, but something about it just don't go to the tempo, it just don't go to the beat. And I was like, man, you crazy, man, this verse hard, man, you crazy. I knew I had something, but he was like, yeah, it is hard, but it just don't go to the beat. And I was like, nah, I don't know. I ain't changing it, man. And he was like, all right, well, if you don't want to try it, you ain't got to try it. You know, it's your call, whatever you want to do. And he gave me that look like, you know, like Phil Jackson told me to, you know, to go out there. And I'm Scottie Pippen saying, nah, I ain't going out there. I ain't doing it. I ain't taking the last shot. I ain't doing it. And I was like, man, I can't let my coach down. So, man, he want to tell me to redo it. Fuck it. What's it going to hurt me? I'll write another verse. And that's what he said. You know, if you don't like it, if we don't like it, we use the other one. So I went in there, wrote 2 new verses. Those are the 2 verses that are on Sitting Sideways. When you hear Sitting Sideways, those are the 2 new verses I wrote. Well, the first verse I originally wrote, I said, man, okay, we're not going to use this verse, but I know I said some shit. So I'm going to keep this, I'm going to keep it just in my back pocket, just in case we're on the road somewhere and say like, you know, I don't know, Jay-Z say, hey, I want to get you on a song. All right, I got something ready. I'm ready right now. Shit, or say, you know, we got to record something and I only got like 20 minutes. I don't got enough time to write my verse. All right, well, I got something that's hard or, you know, just whatever. I just got a verse I can always count on in my back pocket. I can always pull out. Mm-hmm. And then next thing you know, my boy Plain Pat, he tried to sign me to Def Jam. They didn't want to sign me. They ended up not wanting to sign me, but we still kept in touch. He ended up signing Kid Cudi, managing Kid Cudi. He was Kanye A&R. I had already met Kanye West and made his GRILLZ. So he said, hey man, I seen you met Kanye, you made his GRILLZ. Well, I'm his A&R. He say he fuck with your bars, he fuck with your music, but he's very particular. You know, he was taking people off Donda back in the day. You know how when Donda came out there, he took my verse out to me. He was doing that back in the day. So, but you know, I came from the SWISHAHOUSE where you go in there and lay a verse, and like I say, it would get taken off or deleted anyway. You know, sometimes by chance. So it was one of them things where you wouldn't take it personally. You'd be disappointed if your verse came up missing. But you know, it's just how it goes sometimes. So I already know, man, you come with it, shit, you gonna get left on there. You know, shit, they gonna find out, hey, we lost the verse, but come back and lay it again. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If you come with it, shit, they gonna keep it. So he told me, hey man, look, he might not use it, he might use some of it, you know, whatever, but it's just an opportunity. It could be a real big look if he use it. You ain't gotta tell me. I already knew. Jay-Z, you know, already blew up Kanye from using his production. When Kanye started rapping, it took him to another level. Right. Where I personally was a fan is, you know, when you look at Kanye, you know, they always talk about his beats. And at the time, they didn't want to sign him because they didn't like his bars or his lyrics. I was the reverse. I love Kanye bars, but his beats, I didn't love. I loved his bars, his verses, but not necessarily his beats. I love them now, you know, but at the time,
that wasn't your style.
I was more fond of his lyrics than I was of his beats. So when he sent the song to get on, shit, I got just the verse right here in my back pocket just for this. I sent it to him and he said, Plain Pat said, yeah, man, Kanye feeling it, but he wants you to come out here and lay it in LA. So I'm saying, okay, they ain't gonna use my verse. This is like just step one of they're not gonna use my verse. You know what I'm saying? And Mike Jones had went in the studio with Kanye. Mike Jones wanted one of them soul samples. Kanye gave him a beat that wasn't a soul sample. Mike Jones didn't end up using the song. So when I first met Kanye, he was a little salty with me because Mike Jones ain't used his beat.
What?
So even to this day, I've always wondered, like, man, I wanted this Drive Slow to beat Mike Jones turned down. I wasn't in that studio, so I don't know. But I always wondered, man, was that his way of, well, Mike ain't want it. Let me see if you gonna use it. You know what I'm saying? And this is, you know, one of them kind of things. I always kind of wanted that. But anyway, he said, all right, come out to LA and lay your verse. He want to be in the studio when you lay it. Man, bet. I went out to LA, me and my man Goo. We land on the plane. We come down to baggage claim. As soon as we come down to baggage claim, we got 2 LA sheriff detectives with their badges. Hey, you come here, you come here. We like, what the fuck going on? So I see, you know, some camera footage, you know, equipment like on the side. It's LA. Of course, everybody got a camera. Yeah. Okay, Mike Jones had just got punked on MTV Punked. And when you get punked, you usually punk somebody else. So I was like, oh, this is a setup. Mike Jones and Kanye West and got together to get me punked on MTV. I ain't going out like no hoe. If I get punked on MTV, I'm not going to be able to come back to my neighborhood. So shit, I'm going to go, man, you got me messed up. I started talking crazy to the cop because I thought we were getting punked. Now look, I know not to talk crazy to police, especially the LA Sheriff's Department.
Yeah.
Shit, I thought I'm getting punked. Man, thank God that they let us make it, because eventually the cops, he started getting upset with me because I was talking reckless to him. I was like,
what did they stop y'all for?
just random search. I don't know. Maybe we looked like something. We had jewelry, grills, tattoos. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it was random. Maybe somebody said something. Who knows? I just knew I was getting punked. So I was calling them all kind of names, talking reckless to them. And Goo looking at me like, man, what is you doing? They about to whoop our ass. Shit, hey, I know HPD will whoop your ass, but LA Sheriff's Department?
Yeah, they might leave your ass.
Shit, yes.
I remember Kanye got punked. What episode was that?
That ain't nobody.
MTV.
Ain't no
MTV.
That's why I thought I was next. That's what I'm saying.
I know his went out, so you felt that.
That's what I'm saying. I thought I was next. So, okay, I'm next in line to get punked. Eventually, the other cop seen the other cop getting mad and was like, come on, they don't got nothing, let's go. So they left us alone, and I'm like, where Ashton Kutcher at? And Goo like, what you mean where Ashton Kutcher at? Boy, we about to get our ass whooped. So then we in the car, I'm in the car going to the studio. It's before GPS, iPhones, all of that. So he like, you print this is one of the things you print the directions out to make it, so I'm in a car service. He don't know where it's at. We in the left turning lane, the studio right there on the right, but we in the left turning lane. We had a red light. He say, oh, there go right there. He break off everybody at the light. He like turn right at the red light in the left lane. Just so happened it was a cop right there in the right lane. Woo, woo.
God damn.
We get put off. I said, God damn. Well, they couldn't get me the first time. Now they definitely gonna punk me now. So I just knew I was not gonna make it to Kanye album. So he getting the ticket. I'm like, hey, I'm going right there. Can I go? He said, shit, I don't need you. He the one getting the ticket. So I'm like, peace, I'm out. Shit, I go up in there. I'm like, okay, where Ashton Kutcher at now? Again, shit, Ashton Kutcher. I'm like, man, what's going on? Matter of fact, I went up there. I laid my verse. Nas was downstairs laying his verse for the song that he was on the album.
We Major.
And it was shit. Yeah. And then when it all happened, then we shot the video with Hype Williams. The whole thing to me was all like, man, I was expecting at any time to get that consolation call of you didn't make it, the label cut it for this reason or whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? I just was it was a 0% chance in my mind that I was gonna make the album. I'll do whatever I gotta do to shit. I'm gonna do it. Because if I don't make it, it ain't gonna be on me. You know what I'm saying? Shit, well, I'll do whatever I gotta do. And I'll never forget when DJ Drama called me out of nowhere and he was like, hey, you want Kanye album? And I was like, I don't know, it ain't come out yet. Shit. Shit. And he said, yeah, I'm at the listening party right now and I just heard your verse on this song. Shit, you on there? And I'm like, okay, well, it must be official, but let me not say nothing because shit, I know how
So at that time, they wouldn't call you and let you know, like, yo, you made
you do the clearance, all that, but you know how they'll have you sign a clearance and still won't use it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then some artists, some producers, they'll do that just to set you up to shit on you. You know? So I don't know. I didn't know Kanye like that to know is that what he's doing or what? I just, I liked his beats. I thought he was dope. Hell yeah, I want to do a song with you. What you mean? Shit. But you just never know. And sometimes it'd be the label. Sometimes it'd be you got a harder verse than them, so they take you off because they don't want you to shine on them, or it'd be all kind of reasons why people get took off verses.
Looking right at you.
You know the vibes.
I'm looking right. Susie said that.
Yeah.
Labels fuck up a lot of friendships though.
Yeah.
Hurricane Chris said that. Remember he said everybody was on this shit.
Yeah,
on the remix, and he was mad that certain artists wasn't on that got taken.
He had no control over it.
He had no control. That fucked up a lot of relationships.
That happened with me with DJ Khaled. Shit, man, Joey IE brought me to DJ Khaled to do the song. I shouted out Joey IE in the verse, but then Asylum, it wasn't necessarily Joey IE, it was the label, wouldn't clear the verse. It wasn't clear for Khaled. Khaled said, shit, he told me later, man, shit, my plan was the first people got on my first single, they was gonna be on every one of my singles. Every first single of the album is gonna be the same people. So I'm So Hood, I would have been on all of them Khaled hits. I'd have been on shit, but they didn't want to clear the verse. They eventually did clear the verse, but it was label politics. It was, I'm gonna clear it, but you gotta clear this for me. One of them kind of things.
Yeah.
But I wasn't associated with none of it. I did the verse.
Not even in the discussion.
And I'm not in discussion of the clearance at all. That happened before where I did a song with Ashanti and they charged her $100,000. I didn't get $1. Shit, but the label got 100 shit. Goddamn. I can't get none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
That's the kind of shit that somebody should be fired.
Yeah.
It's like dead ass. Somebody once it comes down the pipe and like, yo, I could have been on all of these if it wasn't for your like somebody should be fired behind some shit.
But you know, that's why I say it was like, well, you know, I just appreciated Joey how he took me to get on the song for me to even be on the first one. The what could have been, you know, shit. I just appreciated the opportunity I did have. You know what I'm saying? So shit.
When the labels do that, a lot of the time the artists get blamed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because they was calling me. Why you won't clear this? What you mean? I'll sign it right now. Send the paperwork. Shit, this nigga just the label. Shit.
How many times you had your verse pulled off of a track?
You know what I really feel like?
Here we go.
You know what I really feel like with me? It happened a few times. I just feel like when you go like super hard on the track, like you embarrass people like bad. That shit right there really like fucks people up. Like especially if you got that big ego, like you think you're that dude, and then you know they put somebody else on the track and he just washes you like really bad. It was like it got to a point where Static was like, yo, bro, you gotta be a little more friendly with these guys, bro.
Who has that happened with you?
I'm not really, you know.
Come on,
man. You ain't signed no NDA for that.
Nah, it's just like I'll just say it like this. It got to a point where he like, yo, like people not really gonna want to be your friend because they like feel like you dissing them because you're bodying them so bad. So you gotta like, I'm not telling you to tone it down, like kill it, but don't be like
tone it down.
Don't be like.
That's like telling J. Cole to tone it down.
Exactly.
J. Cole don't tone down nothing. It don't matter who it is. He goes crazy.
If I was J. Cole, I wouldn't have to do that shit. I'm still trying to sneak on records. Other rappers is bigger than me, and they're like, oh, we like Terminology. Let's give him a shot. And then I get on there and I'm like, anybody get somebody that fucking rap like Twister? And they're like, oh, nah, this don't match. You know it. You know what happened. You know why it don't match. You know?
Because I'm slaughtering.
Because you phoned it in and I came in ready to play. So it was like, all right.
And sometimes it'd be like they homeboy, like say you bodied me on a record, and then my boy like, boy, he ate your ass up.
Yeah, one of those. It was shit like that. They amp him up, and then so it was like, you know, I think the more I go to the positive aspect of it, right? When I get the best of a rapper on a song, I'll see him and be like, yo, why you body me like that? Sean Price. There's a video of him on YouTube. Yo, Term, why you always body us? Why you body every rapper every time you do a track? Yo, who you think you are? Shit like that. That shit make me feel good. That's like a Grammy to me. You know what I'm saying? Sheik Luch, oh, I'm doing a song with Term. Now I gotta go to the basement. I gotta go to my basement when I write my verse. You know, Nori, oh, I'm doing a song with Term. Nah, that shit gonna take me like 2 weeks to write my verse. You know, so getting these compliments from these top G-Rap. When I went to the Poconos last year to do the video with him, I said, yo, you know, I said it was very intimidating to do a song with you because you created the style that I use. Right? I perfected the style that you created, but technically you're my grandfather because Pun is my father. And you created the style that Pun used, and then I took from both of y'all and made it modern in my way. You know what I'm saying? With the multi-syllable shit and the tongue twisters and all that. So like he was just like, nah, yo, he like, you did your thing, nobody body nobody. We both, you know, we both was equal. And like when G-Rap said that to me, I was like, ah man, like that shit felt good, even though I still feel like he got me. Cause he's, you know, cause he's fucking G-Rap. Like you can't be mad if G-Rap gets you on a song. If you even come close, you'll go-to.
That's a victory. That's a win.
You'll go-to. And so, you know, just having these moments where like I said, I'm focusing on the positive. I just stick with people that are genuine with me because the records that I did do with people and I got taken off, I just realized that those people weren't for me. They were my industry friends. They weren't real friends, or you know, they were just low-key haters or shit like that. So
maybe they just soft, bro.
Or soft.
Might just be soft.
Or just embarrassed because they got smoked. You know?
They're not there.
If you're a good rapper, you could joke with it to the other rapper. Like, yo, you bodied me on that shit. If you're a good you're a great rapper, I'll see Paul and be like, man, you got me on that one. You know, and he'll say it back, and it's like, because we know we both coming with it.
I remember listening to a freestyle of you on the radio. Redman went first, Then they wanted you to go next. You was like, I'm not doing it.
I respect that though.
Yeah, like I had to say something. I'm like, golly, boy, it's about to be LeBron playing a middle school kid. You know what I'm saying?
Not Reggie Noble.
Yeah, man, he went off too.
He got like 4 bars in it, and he just started laughing. He's like, man, I'm not.
And he was off the head, off the dome. He wasn't like saying something written. He was like off the dome, like it was real shit. Like,
Redman will make fun of you too, man. I did a boiler room cipher with him. Rest in peace, Prodigy. It was me, Prodigy, Redman, Sean Price, rest in peace, Rick Gonzalez, the actor, and it was like a couple other people. And I remember I forgot my verse, and in front of everybody, Redman was like, terminology, you forgot your verse. Like, yo, mad, but just, that's my man. So, you know, he felt comfortable with it. And I was like, oh man, how I forget my verse in front of this guy? Cause like, it's fucking Redman, you know what I'm saying? But we laughed about it later, but yeah, he roasted me, man. So you definitely don't want to get in a cipher with Redman and not come with it. Cause you know,
absolutely
he's gonna roast you one way or another on the mic, or he's gonna snap on you after, like either way.
Reg, you said you was pulling up. Let's go, bro.
Yeah, please. Is it highly competitive in Houston? Like how it is in New York with rappers?
It depends on what perspective you're looking at it from. If you're looking at it from a perspective of rappers that aren't from Houston, nah, everybody in Houston gets along. We got unity. We all support each other. And they all tell, I go to New York, they tell me this. Go to Florida, they tell me this. Go to Atlanta, they tell me this. Go to LA, go to Detroit. Everywhere, they always tell me this. We need to stick together like y'all do in Houston. We need to stick together. We don't get along. We all beef out here. But with y'all, support each other. Y'all stick together. You go back to Houston, every rapper in Houston tell me, man, we need to stick together like they do in Florida, like they do in Atlanta, like they do in New York, like they do in
the grass is greener.
Yes.
Yeah, always.
But, you know, I think a lot of it is publicly, you know, like even in my era coming up, you know, we had a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of beefs. We just kept it internal. You know what I'm saying? We didn't put it on wax. A lot of, you know, some of it we put subliminally, or we might put it in interviews. But we didn't put the bars live forever, especially if it's on a hit. The bars live forever. You know, you wasn't shooting with me in the gym. You know, that shit live forever. Like even after they get back together, Rick Ross will never be welcome in Kobe's house because he talked about this man White. Shit, rest in peace, Kobe. Yeah. But that's like how it is in Houston. So there definitely is competition. Some of it's friendly, some of it's salty. Some of it is you just don't want the other person to win because they've been shining forever, and you just feel like that's your spot. They took your spot. You know, that's how some people feel in Houston about other artists. There's definitely a large chunk of camaraderie where we, you know, it's like the starting five kind of group, you know, where we all support each other. And, you know, the main like 5 or 6 artists in Houston, like, you know, we all support each other and we support everybody.
Right.
Now, there are some people who are ostracized from that don't want support, just so they can tell everybody they don't get supported. Oh, I don't know why in Houston support me. I ain't got no love in Houston. It's all haters. They don't want me to shine. But that ain't necessarily the truth. A lot of them people, they'll paint themselves in a corner, and we'll still support them, but they don't want our support. We'll show up to their events, and they'll be like, damn, why you show up? I tell everybody you don't want to show up because y'all don't like me, and y'all show up. Like, it's like, man. It's but... You know, and then there's people that feel like entitled. A lot of people, I find this worldwide, people, and it's not exclusive to hip hop. People got talent or they dope and they feel like they don't got to work for it. They feel like it comes to them, it's owed to them just because I'm so dope that the world owed this to me because I'm so dope.
Right.
We got that in Houston too, you know, and we got people that'll put in their work. Now, for sure, I feel I'll say, you know, humbly, I'll say, I'm not scared of nobody on the microphone. I feel like I can hold my own with anybody, but I feel like my work ethic is what got me to where I'm at, not necessarily my talent. You know, and there's people in Houston too that got a hell of a lot of, you know, work ethic too, you know, that will put in their work. Some have more talent than others. Some have more connections or more money than others. Some just have that look. Some just have that talent, you know. Some just get that shot that just takes them there, you know, but I've been blessed, you know, grow up in Houston under Jay Prince and Tony Draper, where they showed us how to do it independent. You don't need anybody. You can do it all from here. If you put in that work, you treat people right, you take care of business, you treat it professionally.
It's that second, third, and fourth thing you mentioned. It's not your work ethic, bro. It's your attitude. It's your attitude. It's the ability. It's the ability to be humble when it's time to be humble. It's putting flyers on cars, even though you know you're more talented than that. It's taking the Chinatown bus, even though you know you're more talented than that. It's the attitude. It's not feeling entitled to something because you're talented.
Ego.
Entitlement, your ego don't run nothing but amok.
Yeah.
You can't run a company from your ego. You can't run a successful brand from your ego. You're going to cut off your nose to spite your face. I get sick of it, but I'm listening to y'all's stories. That's why it was so important to get to the beginning. Look what you started out doing. Look how it started.
Right.
Imagine the ego of a kid who looks you in the face and says, I ain't doing that shit.
Right.
You wildin'. For who? I'm better than him. What the fuck I look like doing that for? You know how many times I run into it? Yo, it pains me. I can't stand it. That's, I think, entitlement is like top 3 all-time career killer. For people with real talent. That entitlement kicks in. Nobody wants to do. You try to mentor somebody with entitlement.
Yeah. And don't let them get one little credit, you know.
Anything.
Don't let them get one little thing, because then it's like,
I told you.
Yeah.
I'm right. I ain't got to do that shit.
But can you do it again? You know? Can you do it again? And
barely did it the first time.
And that, we was riding over here in the car, and I'm scrolling, and I see that his record with that Mexican OT just went gold.
Shout out to Mexican OT.
That song is
But
fire.
this is like 3 hours ago. I'm like, oh shit, your shit just went gold. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you do it again? 20 years later, like that's the type of OGs I want to be around. That's the type of good attitude people I want to be around. He's embracing a new artist, and you know, in turn, embracing a new artist humbly, just getting on the track. He gets a hit 20 years in because of the attitude. You know, I'll do a fucking free verse for anybody right now, as long as they come with the right attitude, and I believe in them. It ain't always about a bag, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what's up.
We doing what we love to do.
Real talk.
Too many people saying that.
And big congrats on another gold record.
Want that sneaker. Want that sneaker.
Oh yeah, good that game.
You caught me just mentoring people, OGing people. Key to the game, right? None of us would be where we are if somebody hadn't decided, yo, come here, let me put you on to something. Like on your lane. Sure. I know mine definitely. I speak to shout out to OG J Mill for putting me on, the guy who gave me my start at the source. But you're taking that beyond. Like you're actually honoring real life fathers.
Yeah, man.
Who are out here doing the 1-2. Please talk to us about that.
Yeah, so before
did Math just get one of those?
I paid too. I brought shout out to DJ Trace. He came and brought a couple pairs to y'all on Father's Day, a little after.
I'm not a dad, by the way, but they're dope.
But you know what? It's funny.
Enough niggas, so that's
a fact. Real talk. So I'll start from the beginning. Good Dad Gang is a movement that I started, right? 9 years ago. I started the movement, Good Dad Gang. It started as a hashtag on Instagram. And I would be hanging out with my kids, and every cool thing we would do, we'd go to the park, we'll go wherever we're going, you know, during the weekend, whatever, go to parties, go outside, play with the kids, you know, type stuff. I would always hashtag Good Dad Gang. And then it turned into like where it started catching on locally, like in my neighborhood and around my followers and stuff like that. And people like, yo, you should make a shirt. So I said, all right, cool. I made a shirt, and I just made one shirt in the flea market, you know. Put it up, yo, who would buy this? And right away, all these comments like, yo, I'll buy a shirt. So I'm like, damn, I need 40 shirts ASAP. You know, these orders coming in. So I went, you know, I fulfilled them orders, and I'm like, damn, I was kind of low on paper, but I had a good feeling about it. I'm like, yo, let me invest a couple bands and make a couple 100 shirts, throw them in my trunk, and just see what I could do with them. Bam. So I ran through those 200 shirts mad fast. And then I was like, all right, this shit is starting to blow up because DJ Premier wore it. On his Instagram, and then it started going crazy on his gram. Charlemagne the God wore it on Breakfast Club. Everlast wore it, House of Pain. So these are people with big followings, you know what I'm saying? And so the orders would like start going crazy when I made the website, gooddadgang.com. So then I had to trademark it. Then I had to, you know, incorporate it. I had to copyright it. I had to do all the right things to protect it, you know what I'm saying? But from then to now, man, like it's so amazing what we've been able to do. We got a sneaker with Patrick Ewing. Shout out to DJ Trace. He's the one that designed it. And you know, the first one sold out. This is the second one right now. And so it's cool, man. We've been able to do some great things. We had a billboard with DJ Premier. We did Good Dad Gangstar. We did a collaboration. Yeah, we did a collaboration with DJ Premier. And we was able to do a Father's Day billboard for fathers. We had all fathers come out with their kids in Times Square.
Yep, I remember that.
Remember that?
Yep.
Okay, so we did that. We did a diamond collabo with Diamond Supply. You know, with them being a big streetwear brand, one of the biggest, for them to embrace us and put a Good Dad Gang logo, you know, on their stuff and sell that amount of volume of our merch. Taking it, like I said, I had one T-shirt I made in the flea market, and then I had a trunk full of tees, and it turned into sneakers with Ewing and collaborations with DJ Premier and billboards in Times Square and stuff like that, man. So we do a lot of community work every year. We give back 1,500 backpacks we did this year to my city, Lawrence, Mass. If you know anything about Lawrence or Mass, Lawrence is the poorest city in Massachusetts, one of the poorest cities in the whole America, and that's where I'm from. That's where I grew up, and you know, so it felt good to go back to my hood and you know, just we give free food, entertainment. We gave away what you call them things, the boards that they hoverboards, and, you know, all kind of Oculus. You know what I'm saying? We gave away all kind of stuff to the kids, and it just feels good to give back to the community and do something real. You know, and we don't do it for no bread. We don't do it for no monetary gain. We just do it to give back to the hood and ultimately, man, to just inspire fathers to be in their kids' life. I remember in my building, it was 13 people in my building, and none of us had our father. You know what I'm saying? Not even one father, none of us. I had a father, but he didn't live with us, right? And so I grew up across the street from the Bradford Street Projects. And in that projects, it was probably only 5 people that had their father. You know what I'm saying? So we all grew up either without a father or with a bad relationship with our father, right? Or little to no relationship with our father. So, you know, it's crazy, man, that I see how great it is in this era. When I go pick up my kid from school, mad fathers everywhere. Talking about half the people there are fathers. And that's such a change from the 80s. Now, I understand in the crack era, most of our fathers got locked up. I understand I grew up in the 80s and 90s when the father was purposely taken out of the home. And there's a lot of other things that go with that. You know, it's a conversation for another day. But I will say that most of us grew up without our father or, you know, a bad relationship with our father. And I feel like in this era, most of the kids that I see are growing up at least knowing their father or having them in their life. And a lot of fathers are the one who's doing all the work. And they're letting the mom go to work. And they the one picking up the kid every day from school and taking them here and there, karate classes, this doctor. You know, as a kid, your dad didn't do none of that shit. Mom's was the one doing everything. So, you know, props to all the fathers out there that's good dads and that's holding it down. You don't get no extra credit for being a good dad. That's what you're supposed to do. But at the same time, props to you for going through what you go through. And, you know, I feel bad for the fathers out there that really want to see their kids and can't see their kids. Because there's a lot of people out there right now that want to see their kids and they can't see their kids.
That's a whole different
That's a whole nother conversation, you know? But if you want to know more about the brand, it's gooddadgang.com. You can get these sneakers there. You can get this hat there.
I like those. Those are very comfortable,
Thank you,
too.
man. I appreciate it. Once again, shout out to Ewing for giving us our own sneaker, you know what I mean?
That's fire.
Shout out to you. Tell us about this, please.
Yeah. I'll let Paul tell you about it. That's the second album. The first one was start to finish. So he named both of the projects. So I'll let him tell you.
So repeat is like start, finish, times 2.
Yeah, times 2. Start to finish. All right, we're gonna start, finish, repeat. And you know, and then actually, matter of fact, we just dropped the deluxe also. We got a deluxe version of that too that's out now. So make sure y'all check out the deluxe.
5 extra songs too. Vinyl coming for that too.
Where they could get that at? Yeah. Let them know where
anywhere
they can get
online.
that.
You can check us out online. We got a link.
Well, look, the hard copies.
All of that. The
hard
We set up. We got the hard copies.
Vinyl sold out, but we're gonna make some. We're gonna make some a repress for the new one.
Yeah, this is crazy. Make sure you zoom in on this.
Yeah.
AZ, CL Smooth, Bun B, Tony Sunshine, produced by Watch Professor, Big Crit, the Keith Rashad, PD Crack, Sheik Luge, Mia J, Bun B, DeAndre, Nico, Nims. Oh, salute
Fuck
to
your
Nims.
life.
Salute to Nims.
My God.
Yeah, a lot of good business.
Yeah.
So how did this come about? This part 2?
Man, well, it all started with me. My introduction was when Bun B was working with Stag Selector and they were doing their Trill Static, and I did a verse on the deluxe version that he was doing. Now, I always wanted to work with Stag Selector. We were boys. I just had never really worked with him before. Actually, I came out here to guest to come out for a Hot 97 Summer Jam with Megan Wright, and we got in the studio. That's really what kicked it all off. And I had always wanted to sample something that Sean Price said, where he say, I'm all brawl, smoking on Paul Mall. My fists confront your fronts like Paul Wall. So I always wanted to sample that.
Sean P.
So that's classic right there.
That's Sean P. all day, man.
First of all, just the fact that he said mine, he could have dissed me and I'd have been like, man, let me sample that. But shit, just by him saying that was, okay, I said, Static, man, we got to sample this some type of way, you know, something. He was like, all right, bet. Shit, so we did one, me and Static did a song. And then from there, kind of went on to, you know, a couple more songs. And of course, Terms in the studio too. Terms somebody who I always looked up to because he can, you know, the way he does his thing. I come from the underground. So anybody that's from the underground, that's where I'm from. We're from the same place. So all my favorite rappers are underground. You know, the mainstream is something that's like, you know, it's Superman, it's kryptonite to us, you know. So even me going to the mainstream was something that was like, you know, against who I am inside of me, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, okay, we'll go do it for the bag, but I can't cross certain lines. There's certain things that I just can't do it. You know, I don't know. A lot of it for me is, if I'm coming back to my hood, I can't do certain things. If I'm gonna show my face back in my neighborhood, certain things I can't do. And I still live in my neighborhood. So it's like, shit, okay, well, this is what I'm not gonna do certain things. So, you know, just, you know, the underground is something that's always been with my heart. But working with Static in there, working with Term in there was something, you know, where we just doing a couple songs. Then me and Static did a whole project called Give Thanks. That came out, but it was real under the radar. You know, it's for the love of it. It's just for us to just do some dope music. Just put it. You know, you never know how people gonna feel about it. They might not like it. You know, I always thought that, you know, Southern rappers on boom bap beats sounded dope. So I always, you know, agreed. So it was something I always wanted to do. But when I'm on a major label, they have a marketing strategy. They have, even though I've been out for years, they have a way that they want to present me to the world. So it's certain things, even if I want to rap on DJ Premier beat, there ain't no way in hell they going for that because they trying to present me as a Southern, you know, this and that, even though I am Southern, but who wouldn't want to rap on a DJ Premier beat? You know what I'm saying?
They're looking at it from a business aspect, though.
But it's, you know,
Premier Southern too. The fuck wrong with y'all? Come on. Texas.
The never ending fight of the artist versus the label.
We're both from Texas. What the fuck is you? Fired.
Man.
You ought to be fired.
But it's one of the things that I always wanted to do it. I just never really had the opportunity to do it. Or maybe I did have the opportunity, but I didn't push hard enough because I'm just going with the flow or whatever we got to do. So, you know, getting there, working with Static, doing it, and then, you know, Term hit me one day, was like, hey, what you think about doing an album? Let's do it. Come on, we're going to do an album together. Come on, let's do it. So that was the first one to start to finish, where we just really were like, it was like I don't want to say science experiment, but it was definitely like we were experimenting with, okay, how are we going to sound together? What type of beats are we going to sound good on? What features are we going to sound good on? And then after we did the album, when we put the album out, you know, we came up here, you know, while we were putting it out, and we were just back in the studio. So by the time we left from the promo, we were already halfway done with this. With part two. Yeah. And the formula that really worked for us is just us being dope. Shit, you pick a dope beat, say something dope on it. That's the formula. There's no more thought to it than that. Sometimes we put extra thought into it of, you know, who would sound good on this, or, you know, once we put out the first one too, there have been other artists and producers who kind of approached us through the weeds here and there. That's like, hey, when y'all do another one, let me know. I want to get on that. Or artists that we'll put it out to, or produce. Hey, if we do another one, would you be down to, you know, produce on it? Would you be down to get on this? And it's all been positive. So of course we like, shit, let's keep this shit going. We doing what we love to do, something we have, you know, a huge passion for. And at the end of the day, it's just dope beats and dope bars. And that's it.
I can't wait to listen to this. Have any of y'all ever told each other like, yo, bro, that verse ain't gonna work? Not for this track. Y'all,
No, to
any
be
of y'all ever
honest,
told each other that?
No, he never told me that. No.
No? You ever told him
That
that?
very rarely happens to me.
I think we both maybe have
Respectfully.
told ourselves that. Where I say, well, I tell him, man, I think I'm gonna redo my verse, and he like, man, you crazy.
Yeah.
Or he'll
Right.
say, hey, I think I'm gonna redo that hook, and I'm like, oh, verse, and I'm like, man, you crazy. Shit, bro.
Right.
That's because we our worst critics when it come to us critiquing our shit. That's how it is. With
Hands down.
Right. And yo, when I write a rhyme, right, and this is just me. I know that maybe everybody don't think like this. But when I write a rhyme, I'm competing with myself, like my greatest version of myself. And when I'm writing at my peak, I feel like I'm just as great as anybody else. So if I don't write a rhyme that like I wouldn't feel comfortable spitting for like Eminem or Black Thought or Nas, if I don't write a rhyme that's at that level, I wouldn't even want y'all to hear it. So y'all not gonna hear it. You know, I'm definitely not gonna do it on my album with Paul Wall. You know what I'm saying? It's not one of those PayPal joints. This is, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got a couple dollars real quick, you know? And even on those, I might give them a better verse than, 'cause I don't know how to rap whack, but I know for sure when I'm rapping on, you know, Static Selector, Large Professor, Diamond D, Buck Wild, Pete Rock, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm coming with my A game. Like, I still want motherfuckers to be hearing Shea 45 and be like, what the fuck is this?
This shit right here is a lesson. This is a lesson of how important it is, not only artistically, collaboration, shit like that, the fact that it's a physical component, but also the fact that all of the information is etched out in this beautiful piece of art, like the producers, the samples, how many tracks it is, who did the album cover, who did the layout, who it was mixed and mastered by, where it was mixed and mastered at, in Brooklyn, by the way, which is where we're from. But this is a lesson. I feel like this is a lesson. This is very important. Queens get the money. Yeah.
I ain't say nothing. I ain't say
I'm
nothing.
gonna say it for you, my brother. I'm gonna say it for you.
Your man was like this in the camera.
But this is a lesson. This is very important, man. This is very important, and I'm super elated that this still exists.
Yeah, no,
it still exists right here, man.
I have a request.
We were really happy to come up here because the last time we did all the big press and most of the big press, but we didn't get to come up here. So, you know, we were definitely excited to come up here, and this has been a great experience.
Yeah, we
appreciate you. I have one request.
Yeah.
This is me, my last question. I have one request. For part 3, Paul Wall, Terminology, Chameleonaire.
Hey, man.
That's a Chameleonaire question.
We gotta,
you know what I'm saying? You gotta ask Chameleonaire that. He making too much money to get in the studio, man. He making too much money to get in the studio.
I don't believe
You know what? I don't know. I've been thinking about this, man. You know, I've been thinking I might sacrifice myself for the hip hop, you know, to the hip hop guys, just for the sake of hip hop. You know, I think I might put out a diss CD, dissing Chameleonaire. Just to rile him up. Just to rile him up, though. Rile him up and shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Nah, you know, we
Paul Wall said you suck.
Nah,
what up, nigga?
I love Kabir, that's my dog, but he definitely making enough money now where he is only getting on something if he wants to. If he don't want to do it, he don't get. Now he might, me and Turn, we talk about it because we were talking about that before, like, you know, somebody like one of the Primo beats, like something like that, like, okay, will we get somebody on that? Who will we get on it? You know what I'm saying? Or what would we think out the box with it, you know, do something, you know, crazy, unexpected. So but that's definitely a Chameleonaire question. We waiting on him.
Listen,
he ain't waiting on me.
I'm not gonna ask the question. He in here about the show.
Yeah, come in where you at?
I'm not even gonna ask the question. What I will say is there's no such thing as too much money to not be on the mic. Because if Jay-Z can be a billionaire and still give a verse out, even if it's once a year, once every couple of years, and Jay was the main one who came into the game saying he was only gonna do one album and then never do another one. How many albums was that ago?
Yeah,
18.
It's 20. Like he said, he gotta want to do it. If he feeling it, he might do it. But
I'm making a request.
Yeah, that's a solid request. And I tell you one thing, I've been able to really bring Paul to New York. You hear? You see who produced it? Diamond D, Buck Wild, Static, Pete Rock. So I think that on the third one, we definitely gonna tap into a little bit more of his lane and some artists from Houston we haven't really got a chance to do
Sounds
that.
like Chameleonaire would be
So
comfortable
you know,
like
since
Add Chameleonaire in all the comments. You know?
add Chameleonaire.
Yeah,
So, you know,
Chameleonaire.
since we planned on
I'm
doing a
gonna
little
troll
bit
you,
of a gumbo next time, that might could work out.
I'm borderline doxing right now. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see this happen.
Matter of fact, his email is chameleonaire.
Fellas, as a representative of your house, as two legendary families making great music for the love of the art, still being successful, still being family men. I see that ring ain't go nowhere. Still rocking out as far as
20 years, baby.
20
Shout out to
years
Chris
married.
Wall, my wife, 20 years, baby.
Wow. Yo, hold up. Hand clap to that.
Yeah.
We gonna hand clap to
20
that.
años.
Yeah.
It ain't all Will and Jada out here.
Yeah.
Some couples keep it quiet and keep it going. It's not about being a secret, but it's about privacy. That's
for sure.
But that's just
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
seeing. Fellas, I ask you with another request to please keep this going. You're doing the right thing.
Shit, you already know.
Let's go, baby.
We go to the studio when we leave it. Work on part 3. Shit.
He already came up with the name for part 3, so.
Terminology and Paul
we
Wall,
ready.
y'all.
Terminology
In the
and
building.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Salute.
It's all around. Look around you, man. You can find inspiration. You can find discouragement. It all depends on you. Perception is everything. Some people just hear another song. Some people hear the greatest. A nigga used to have no chill. Nowadays I bump side A. Traffic going bumper to bumper, stuck on the highway.